everything here because I won't be using this channel just for battle rap. I'm gonna talk about this. I'll use this channel for everything that's like big, pretty much in Black American culture. I won't be using this channel. Uh, Anything that's big in Black American culture is what I'll be doing on this channel, from hip hop to anything. You know those big headlines you guys see. That's what I'll be doing on here. And then if a big event come up, I'll cover it and rap. So, because these are the things I like to think about. These are the things I like to talk about. So that's what I'd rather do. I did get y'all messages saying like, "Yo, you got to go live. You got to do the update on Rory and Mal." But yesterday I was out in the woods filming a documentary. Uh, there was no reception, but driving up to the woods, went to this beautiful waterfall and everything. Man, it was crazy. Driving up there, I listened to Rory and Mal, which I'm about to play here and break down. But what's up, y'all? What's up, man? Cold on the sticks, Roberto. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, man? Before I break down the Rory and Mal striking back, I want to tell y'all what happened on my way leaving the mountain, right? So on my way to the mountain, I'm listening to Rory and Mal, and I'm like, yo, they breaking this stuff down. They're really breaking this down. And it's going against the stuff I said in my video, because my video was basically leaning towards Joe Budden being right. So on my way back from the mountain, after I finished filming and stuff, I want to hear other podcasters, since I can't talk about it. I'm not here to video myself, take myself talk about it. All the people that was siding with Joe Budden, that was clowning Rory and Mal, they got new videos out bigging up Rory and Mal, and they've taken down their video where they was taking up for Joe Budden. What's up, ATL? I think a lot when I drive. I know that I love driving. When I used to rap a lot, that's how I was thinking about bars and everything, how I'm going to cover a story, how I'm going to shoot a documentary, how I'm going to shoot a film. I think a lot of stuff when I'm driving. So I'm driving, and I'm thinking, I'm worried about our children. Because we trying to create something that doesn't exist. If you did something bad in your past and people find that out, you can get canceled for it and lose everything you got. But we're humans, so a lot of us have something not PC in our past that people can go look up and find. And you'll cancel that person and destroy their entire life, right? Now you can't even keep an opinion up that you had up. You got to delete that when you're privy to new information. Both of these creates a false illusion that we're perfect. If you can't have no mistakes in your past and you got to delete videos, even if the video is based upon the evidence you had, why can't you leave that up? Why do you want to remove that video? My video is heavily taken up for Joe Budden. Why remove it? That video is based upon the information that was given at the time. Why remove that video? Even if you was 100% wrong in the video, why can't you leave it up? Because to me, the world I want to live in, human beings are supposed to show that they're capable of changing their mind in lieu of new evidence. That's actually intelligent. That's what science does. Science is always open to change its mind. The theory of gravity is there. Comes new information that discredits that, the theory of gravity would change. We once thought the world was flat. We get new information. We see the world is round because gravity is in the center of all objects, including you. You have your gravity. You don't know it. You can't feel it because there's a larger object around you, the earth, that has a stronger gravity. But every object has gravity. And it pulls in on the center. And if it's large enough, pulling in on the center, it's going to create a round sphere object. I just think it's a crazy world, and I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about our children, man. Like, our children and our grandchildren are trying to grow up in this fictitious world where you're supposed to be perfect. I want people to grow up in a world where people make mistakes. So like everybody else deleting their little video, I'm not deleting my video. My video was made given on the information at the time. That video should stay up. And then what you do is prove by the next video, this dude John is cool. He's open to change his mind in lieu of new evidence. So now we get into the Rory and Mal video, which I'm going to play and post here. On the Rory and Mal video, in my video where I was taking up for Joe Budden, I said one thing in that video that was vital. One small thing. I said, this all gets thrown away if Rory and Mal are getting paid a percentage. I said that one little sentence. If they're being, I said that they should not have to look into his books if they aren't the owners of the company. But if they're getting paid a percentage, that changes everything. Because at that point, they have to look into the books. Right? People are too afraid to be wrong. That's right. That's what's up, Monty Ellis. Agreed. You made your assessment based on the facts you had at the time. Yeah, that's why the video's staying up, man. Hassan Muhammad, peace to you too, man. What's up, Flow Easy? Now, something just happened great because I knew this morning I was going to wake up. I just woke up too. I knew I was going to wake up this morning and I knew I was going to do this video. But I was going to do this video only based upon Rory and Mal. But now it appears that Joe Budden has run to go live, and it is almost as revealing. Even though the live wasn't that long, he went live on his Instagram. It was very revealing, especially coming off of what we know that Rory and Mal said. So I'm not going to do the fake stuff. You know how people be fake. They like, let's do a live reaction. I haven't seen it. I already saw it. I don't lie to my people. I already saw it. We're not doing a live reaction. We still going to do a reaction. Let me take the link right here and play it, and then I'll break down the pieces, man. And this is how I'm doing my channel from now on all topics, bro. I'm kind of glad I got a channel that I can just sit back and just talk about whatever I want to instead of staying on one subject. I love true crime, but I don't want to talk about people dying and being slaughtered and murdered all day. I like true crime because I have a platform that can help family members out and get closure on stuff. But there's more things I like to talk about, besides true crime, which led me out of battle rap. There's more things I like to talk about outside of battle rap. So I'll take this channel.
We're gonna get to.
I'll take this channel and I'll use it to talk about whatever I want to talk about.
The truth.
And let's try to get to it quick because I do want this to be straight to the point. This is
the truth is simple. The truth is quick, man. The truth isn't long-winded. It's not boisterous. It's not loud.
It's not to degrade people. It's not to manipulate people.
This isn't a smear
to make yourself look better.
Also, too, I'm not going to agree with everything they say. There's two major things in here I'm still going to disagree with them on.
Nah, man.
It's not just, let's tell what happened.
Yeah. Like I said, my karma is beautiful. My aura is beautiful, man. I'm just here to just let the people know the truth.
And only because there has been so many people over the past going on the 7th year of our podcast that have been there and supported, bought fucking tickets, bought subscriptions, and just downloaded
we're extremely grateful for that.
Fucking bootlegged it. I'm appreciated for it. Like
absolutely.
People have just always came out for us, and I understand when people do things twice a week for however many years, you become part of their lives, and they want answers. And
absolutely.
In some cases, I can't tell.
Flo said, more importantly than money, Joe ruined 2 friendships. In the end, it's another pair of relationships that Joe ruined due to him overanalyzing and assuming. Nor Rory or Mal called Joe a thief. I agree with everything you said except for that last sentence. That's one of the things I'm going to disagree with him on. I'm going to wait till we get to the part. I don't think it's as cold-blooded as calling him a thief, but I don't think it's as innocent as nothing happened. We just want to look at the books. And I'm going to go by what they say in here. I'm going to use their own words, that it was more than we just innocently want to look at the books. They were worried about some stuff, bro. But, Joe is a trash friend. And there's a part of me that I connect with Joe Budden because I can be, you guys have seen it, I can be emotional at times. The only difference is somebody clearly came and messed with me first, but even in those situations, you got to learn to walk away. So I can feel Joe in that portion, but all my friends like me, bro. I'm extremely loyal. I'm more like Mal when it comes to friendship. There's been situations to where I didn't want to fight a group of guys. I'd rather walk away because I don't want to get jumped on. I see the same group of guys. They trying to fight my boy. Me and my boy going to ride together. We just going to get beat up together. I come very, very protective when it comes to my friends, and I know I'm an awesome friend. But Joe got some stuff inside he needs to get checked out because he played the wrong move in this situation. But we're going to hear it here.
Tell you everything just because it is personal and legal things to some degree, but there should be some actual transparency.
Oh no, we're gonna get into some personal shit.
Or some other, we're
gonna get into some personal shit. Like I'm only doing this once. I'm not one of these guys.
Oh no, I want this to be the end of it. This is not
I'm only doing this
going
once.
On a press run.
This isn't. I'm not here to smear nobody. I'm not here for that. This is just the truth. This is just not my truth, the truth. I think it's important.
I agree with you, Flo.
Because motherfuckers like to say, "Oh, my truth." No. This is the truth.
I agree with you too, undefeated pacifists. Rory and Mal are innocent, although what they're wrong is not on the same level. It's not like evenly wrong. Joe is way more wrong here. They're just things that they done. I'm gonna call out that could have made the situation better for themselves.
This is what happened, what didn't happen, and again, I thought we owed it to the fans and the supporters. So here we are.
Yeah, and I had a lengthy list.
Yeah, your list was kind of crazy. It gave me anxiety.
It was lengthy. It gave me anxiety, to be quite honest. I had to chop it down just because when you watch things and you react. I don't even want to say because emotionally gets a bad rap for the word it is, but I will say emotionally. React emotionally to certain things, which is fine. So I was sitting there writing 1,000 different notes on every last thing I disagreed with. That's a lie. That never fucking happened. How could you even think that's your perspective on this and that?
Right.
I was like that.
He had signed with the Knicks, and we were out in Detroit together. And so I was back in the city, and Joe, he hit me and was like, "Yo, I want you to come by the pod and kick it." I was like, "Okay, cool. Like I'll swing through," and came through. We had fun time, good conversation, laughs, jokes. It was kind of like catching up. I hadn't seen him in a while, so it was like catching up, and the energy was dope.
I remember when he called you in his kitchen. I won't say the town, but
I think it's just a wrong choice of word. Joey Donut said how Rory and Mal not innocent. You let your job not pay you what you're supposed to be paid. So I just think it just depends on the words we choose. I don't know about guilty or innocent and all that stuff. If I were forced to look at those two words, Joe's guilty and they'd be innocent. I'm just saying about not getting yourself in the positions, and then certain things they're going to contradict themselves on here. So I don't know if that's not going to make them guilty. It's just that there are things that you could have done to prevent yourself from being in a situation, especially with Mal.
In his kitchen, from one of his older houses, when we were sitting there trying to go through, like, yeah, we need to get a girl, we need to do this and that. Nothing really stuck at that point. And he was like, oh shit, I think Mal's in town. And I mean, you and I weren't cool, but we had seen each other around type of
definitely.
shit for a couple of years at that point. And I was like, oh yeah, Mal's fucking...
So I fast forwarded because they had that long intro. But I think Rory started his off first, so we may have missed Rory's story. If we did, Rory's basically saying the very first podcast he helped work on, he wasn't on the podcast as a host, but he used the email, he helped set it up, blah, 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 blah. And this is one of the things that Joe Budden used that I fell for. He used a lot of fallacies to change the subject. I forget what's the specific fallacy when you're changing the subject in an argument. And he does this a lot. What is that called? Fallacy change the subject. The fallacy of responding to an opponent's argument by changing the subject to the person who gave the subject. Introducing the false assumption that a person of this sort cannot offer an argument worth considering. The changing the subject, a logical fallacy. Red herring. Okay. So red herring happens a lot to us, especially when we arguing with our significant other. Most of us over here in this channel are men, so especially when you arguing with your girl, they're going to throw up a lot of red herrings. Whether Rory and Mal were on the first podcast and started it with him from day one is a red herring. So you say, John, why does that have nothing to do with the subject? The only reason you should argue if they were from day one would be if they own the podcast. We out here in the public listening to this, we have made arguments on whether Mal and Rory own the podcast, but Mal and Rory have never once ever argued that they own that podcast. As a matter of fact, we didn't know what their thing was. So, like me, I made the incorrect assumption that they work for Joe Budden, and that's why they're not privy to the books. This is the first time where they're going to say their role, which is they own a percentage of the profits that come in from it. If you own a percentage of the profit that come in from it, and in the contract it says that you are required to see the accounting, then that is the subject. In that subject, it doesn't matter if they came on the last episode. It doesn't matter if they came on episode 98. It doesn't matter if they came on episode 77, as Mal says he did, and it doesn't matter what particular episode Rory did in the beginning or what he had to do with. All of that is a red herring, and none of this even matters. So now that we got this established, you're going to see how Joe Budden has tricked the public with a bunch of red herrings to throw us off the main subject, which is accounting, and their right to the accounting per the contract that they have. All right, let's keep going.
Hysterical. Mm-hmm. That'd be great. Then you came on the show. Seemed to stick. Mm-hmm. Did you have plans on staying? Like when you went into that, did you think it was going to be a one-off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he just wanted to, kick the shit and bust it up, laugh. Shit we normally do when we see each other. So it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, we crack some jokes, tell some stories, and, what I've been doing, where I've been at, and, just catch up. But it was something that
Hood Nerd Sports Rap and Gaming said, if we're being honest, we still don't know whether bad business was done because no one is still clear about that. Did you see Joe Budden's second live? Not his first live where he ran off and said, I'm not feeling appreciated, so I'm going to leave. He ran and did that live as soon as they did it, but he went live again when he's drinking out of the white and red cup. I literally just saw that before I went live. So if you take what they're saying in this podcast and then you take Joe Budden's rebuttal, there's an admittance that what they were saying is correct on the percentages and the rights to look at the books. And I'll play what Joe Budden said to show that. So we can at least say that we're clear on that part, which would make Joe Budden wrong. Even in his arguments following this podcast, sometimes the things you say tell a lot about you. If someone talks shit about you, Joey Donuts, and they say 10 things, I give out 10 things that make Joey Donuts a horrible human being. All 10 things I say is credible. The whole world picking on Joey Donuts because they say all 10 of these things is solid. Joey Donuts hears the 10 things I said about him, and he only goes and talks about 2 of those. He don't mention the other. Like me, I'll use Rory for an example. Rory just did a tell-all on everything that Joe Budden discussed, right? But one subject he didn't mention. He didn't mention whether he went to DJ Academic's house or not. Why didn't he mention that? We don't know why, but I'm going to assume he really went to DJ Academic's house. The 2 main portions, out of all the stuff they talk about on Joe Budden only talked about the 400,000, and the rest of the stuff was little red herrings to try to throw off this solid thing that they have here, that we have a right to look at accounting. And I'm going to play it and show you. All this stuff they mentioned about Joe Budden. But even in the live before that, it shows you that Joe Budden is a very prideful person, because in the live before that he deleted, when he first went live yesterday, he said, you don't have to hurt your friends. You don't have to talk about their rap career was not good. That tells me that hurt Joe Budden's feelings. But he went thinking about how the whole country could see his mans by telling the whole world that he hired detergent and he moved in with him. He can get emotional and irrational and go off on guys who've been solid his whole life. But when they come back and say something, sometimes what you say tells a lot, especially what you say first. I always tell people, I tell my teenage daughter get in trouble. What you say first matters. That's the most important thing. My teenage daughter get in trouble, and then the first thing out of her mouth is like, well, you're not going to trust me. You don't trust me to do right. You don't trust me to do right. Your first thing should be on fixing the correction that you did wrong. If you cared about the first thing, if that was your top priority, what you talking now about this whole trust thing will automatically fix itself. But you don't want to talk about what you did wrong because you want to keep doing that wrong thing. Tells a lot about people what they mention first. That's all I'm saying. What's up, Chris, man? Breaking down this video. John, you deserve more subs. I'll be more consistent on here to get more subs, man. Rory leaving that stupid letter probably was the catalyst for this whole thing. I don't think that letter was stupid. Oh, what? No. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking you talking about the letter to Joe Budden at the end. Yeah, Rory doing the thing with DJ Academics, but DJ Academics showed he's not somebody you should listen to on his response to this. He shows DJ Academics said, "I don't care how much I hate a person. I don't care how much you guys know I'm a solid person, that I'm never biased." And you can see in his mannerisms from before when he was talking trash about them, and then after he watched the video, all that confidence left out, and he was left with nothing but pure bias. And he kept trying to use red herrings to switch the subject on the facts that they laid out in this video. Yeah, I told my wife there's no coming back after that detergent comment. That was wild. Yeah. What's good, KDR's media, man? Nah, the act letter. I got you, undefeated pacifist. I think my camera is like 10 seconds faster than what you guys see. So I may respond a little slow.
Stuck, and we had the conversation, I think maybe 2 weeks after that. And it became a permanent thing.
Then it started to really kind of catch some type of wave. Granted, it was definitely doing good numbers from RIP. As far as first podcasts go, I'll never say otherwise there. It definitely came out the gate. You know, Joe was polarizing. This shit was a good little thing we had going. I get a call from Elliot Wilson. Elliot says, "Hey, let's go to lunch." I've known Elliot.
Yo, I'm gonna get in trouble
outside
for being,
of my relationship with Joe, outside of my relationship, anything to do with the podcast. I've just known Elliot.
But I'm still gonna do it.
Elliot's my guy. Elliot's an amazing guy.
I already know I'm gonna get in trouble.
And Elliot will just hit you up and say, "Yo, let's grab a drink or let's have lunch."
Right.
So I said, "Bet." We go and have lunch.
Listen to
Don't
this.
really talk about podcasting specifically, but just maybe the overall genre and what's going on. He has a title and just shooting the shit about music because Elliot and I have similar interests. Towards the end of the lunch, he said, "Hey, you know, I'm over at Title full time now. I could probably give y'all like an offer on some type of podcasting thing." So I'd love to hear about that. Elliot says some numbers, not, you know, actual deal points or anything like that, but just, you know, what he thinks, ballpark number, friends talking on what he thinks he could do per month.
Right.
It's early in podcasting. I say, bet. So I called Joe. I said, "Hey, I just had a really interesting lunch with Elliot." "Okay, what happened?" I said, "Oh, Title, they're trying to put together this little podcast division. This is what's going on. This is what they think they could offer per month." Real casual, real regular. Never said yes or no to anything. I was just like, "Yeah, cool. I'll get back with the guys and we'll talk." Joe flips the fuck out on that phone. "Yo, what the fuck would you ever talk about this fucking podcast to anybody?" Like, flipping the fuck out. I said, "Joe, I was talking to Elliot, who's a friend, and I didn't say anything but, okay, I'll talk with the guys."
Right.
Could have been a stranger on the street saying, "Yo, give you out $2 million tomorrow."
Right. I'm gonna go talk to the guys.
I go talk to the guy.
Right.
Never said anything. Never went that. Was met with just a flip out.
Right.
Yo, I'm finna tell y'all a little quick story what I did that was wrong with a business partner, right? On the way you talk to another grown man, right? We shot a movie and it was taking a little longer for us to edit the movie. Me and my partner. Guy by the name of Teflon Media. He shoots a lot of music videos in Atlanta. He shot my music videos. Y'all saw that was on this channel. And he my boy. We went to high school together. That's my man. But now we in business together, right? I come up with the stories. I write the film. We go put our money in together. We hire actors. We fund the whole thing, studio equipment, everything. And so I didn't like the fact that I felt like he was running out of excuses of why he wasn't editing this movie. And I knew he was a little nervous. It was the first big movie he was going to put out. And, you know, sometimes you start making excuses for yourself. But long story short is, one of the actors called us on three-way. The actors, like, got us pointing fingers at each other, which is very unprofessional. And I should have never pointed fingers. I started it. I was the bad one because I want him to freaking, like, let's edit and put this thing out. Also started me and him getting into it. We arguing out, and I'm yelling. I'm talking to him about like how Joe talking to Rory. And then once we stop, I'm trying to do business. It wasn't even a we. It was just me. I was yelling and talking to him. He wasn't even yelling and doing nothing wrong. I'm trying to move through the conversation what do these numbers say? Just say we're gonna release it then. Let's give the actors their footage at least. Let's edit some parts of the good scenes they're in so they can take it. Because what actors really want more than to see themselves in an independent film, they want the footage so they can put it in their portfolio. That's what they want, so they can take that footage and go get more acting gigs. That's the number one thing. If you're trying to make an independent film, you get the actors that just some certain scenes they're in, they'll love you for life for that. My partner Tony would not proceed with any logical thing that I'm saying that's true, because as a man, you got to rewind this conversation back to how the fuck you talking to me. You're not finna talk to me like that. Me knowing that I was the one that was wrong, I'm trying to like blow that off so fast and go back to the steps because I didn't calm down or what to do right. Every time I tried to leave and go to the steps, he was like, nah, but we got to go back to how you was just talking to me. He wouldn't let that go. I had more respect for him for not allowing me to continue on as if I just didn't just disrespect this man. Gave me more respect for him as a partner. Like even little things, like if me and him get into it with somebody, I know he got my back. He a man, he gonna let nobody talk to you any kind of way. I respected him more that he held me accountable for the way that I was trying to talk to him. When somebody your friend, man, and you want to be in good business with him, you got to respect him as a man. You got to respect him as a man. Joe Budden and look at how many times he's going to yell and talk to Rory. Look at on the podcast when they were supposed to come back together when Rory was sitting on the couch and he's looking over Rory doing this finger pointing thing he always do with Mal. How can you help this guy before you help me, as if Mal not even there, talking to him like in third person and stuff. He has established from jump that he doesn't respect Rory. Now, doing this, what Rory is wrong is Rory didn't do what my business partner Tony did. My business partner Tony was like, we got to get the way we talk to each other established off rip, or we ain't doing no business, my nigga. And if Rory would have done that, it would have made a lot of stuff better in the future. Not to relieve any responsibility from Joe. You wrong. You don't talk to another man like that, especially if that's your man's. You know what I'm saying? But we got to be accountable for how people treat us. I've established on this channel, any blog or anybody try to come at me, there's a way you're going to talk to me or I'm going to make your life hell. You got to be accountable for how you allow people to treat you. And I felt like that's something that Rory never established with Joe Budden. I see both sides. I can't say what's right or wrong until I see the contract. My damn self. You know we ain't going to never see that, Moon God. What's up, in top man? You got to press someone if they disrespect you. That's the only way they're going to respect you. That's exactly right, Joey Donuts. Yeah. These clowns deserve to be fired. I disagree. That's a loaded thing. I'll get into that. I don't know. I'm fired, definitely no. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Weeks later, Joe takes us outside of the Totowa studio. Yo, so I got this title deal. And said the numbers, and then they were exact same numbers, the exact same thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
The reason Joe didn't want Rory to get that deal, and Joe went and got the exact same deal from Tidal, is because right off jump, Joe's trying to establish that this is mine, and they didn't read the signals. Why does it matter who gets the deal? You know, I'm a lazy person. I got a podcast with somebody. If she gets a deal, cool. I ain't even have to do no work. Thank you. What we need to do now? But Joe wanted to get that deal instead of Rory. Also, you can see the paranoia seeping in that he didn't even want. He made the negative assumption that Rory's out here trying to conduct business on his behalf when Rory just sitting here, heard something from Ian, who they supposed to be cool with, went back and told Joe. He didn't say we'll accept the deal. He was like, hey, this is something somebody tried to offer us, and got disrespected for it.
I think we had. Did we have an argument that day about that? Was that?
No, you guys say that was about the title deal, but I don't think that argument was about the title deal.
Okay.
I think it has something to do with Highline Ballroom or something. I didn't think the title. I don't think the title deal was ever an
live
argument.
show. It was a live show.
Because the title deal, you and I thought was cool. Like, because I think it was for 6 months. It wasn't like some crazy deal. It was like, yeah, all right, maybe we'll get some bread.
Yeah.
And then move the fuck on. Granted, was it a good decision to probably turn it down? Sure. Whatever. Right. No one's ever mad about it.
Right.
Type thing. So once those deals start coming in, I'm thinking, well, we should probably just start having contract conversations. Because when we were
this is where people gonna get mad at me right here, because I'm not gonna be politically correct. I'm going to stereotype right here, because Rory's gonna do this a lot. when I was riding to the mountain yesterday and I heard this, I made a joke. I said, Joe Budden doesn't like Rory because Rory is being white. He being white. Yo, look at URL and look at King of the Dot. And let's go all the way back to the beginning. White people gonna be faster to establish paperwork. So from the beginning, they sitting there chilling, and then they got one offer, and you're like, you know what? We're probably gonna get more offers. We probably should not be guessing or doing nothing. We should probably have our paperwork, and so we can have stuff crystal clear. He's just being white, man. You can't get mad at your white friend for being white. And to be honest, that's the way you're supposed to do. There was a different kind of level of respect that people had of King of the Dot because way years ago, 2012, 2011, way years ago, they established paperwork, and they were firm about how they're going to uphold their contracts. So you saw less shady dealings with King of the Dot than you did with people running off on deposits on URL, because he being white, man. You got a white friend, bro. He's just being white. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get mad at people for that's the right thing to do. He being right, to be honest with you. You know, it's all cool when you sitting there talking and kicking it with your mans, but like, hold on, money may be involved in the future. Let's just establish paperwork now. That's just what a real good businessman would do. But Joe don't like that because paperwork holds you accountable. And Joe is erratic and emotional. He doesn't like to be held accountable for things. This is something he said. I think what was Joe Budden words is that I don't like people feeling like they have power over me. Well, if you don't like people feeling having power over you, one sure way a person can have power would be if you have a contract with them and you don't want to uphold your end of that contract.
We're thinking about taking the title deal. Joe and I did sit down and talk about percentages off that monthly title number.
Right.
Which happened. I don't care what you think, what your narrative is. This all happened.
Mm-hmm.
We turned down the title deal. I think, well, we should just have that conversation anyways, because we're starting to get real offers, not just little ads here and there, like $1,500, $2,500. Like, we're getting actual offers. Are they crazy offers? No, but they're offers. So,
because they're offers, and he being white. Hey, man, let's just go ahead and get some paperwork just to be on the safe side, pal. Rory, Joe forgot his friend was white, man.
We should just do this because we're all friends. Let's just get a binding contract between all of us.
Right.
Nothing crazy, nothing to a specific deal.
Right.
And just to make sure I'm crystal clear, he's being right too. RIGHT. This is what you should do. We all cool. We homies. Before anything get crazy, let's just establish a business relationship right now on paper.
Nothing to a lump sum of money, just a percentage-based shit. Let's just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Call Joe, and I say that to him. This was one of the first conversations I'd ever really been offended to Joe, and I've expressed this to him. He flipped the fuck out, called me insecure for wanting to have a contract.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is clear disrespect of your friend, because if you go into a room with anyone else and you think about doing business with them, you wouldn't cuss them out and call them insecure, because you know that they're going to start talking about paperwork and the lines being drawn in the sand. Joe Budden walk inside Spotify, he know what they going to do. Joe Budden walk in Def Jam, he know what they going to do. But when it's your friend, someone who you have tested the waters by cussing him the heck out off rip, cussing him out off rip, you already know the boundary, because Rory didn't check you back. Rory didn't tell you how you're going to treat me as a man. Rory did teach you something. Rory taught you that it's okay to disrespect him for wanting to do the right thing.
And said, don't call me about this shit. I said, I'm insecure because I think we're all friends and I want to have a contract since all these deals are coming in. So once the deals are finalized, the three of us don't have to say a fucking word to each other. We good.
Right.
We can continue on with this chemistry of this podcast.
Right.
But I'm insecure.
Mm-hmm.
I found that very odd. The same way he psychoanalyzes his friends, I thought that was the weirdest fucking thing on earth.
Right. You understand that now,
simply,
though. You understand what that energy was about now, though.
This was just the first one.
Okay, got you.
This was just the first one. Mm-hmm. Just said to myself, well, that's kind of weird. That's not insecurity. That's just how shit goes.
A man talk to me like that, I'm not saying that's weird. I'm doing more than saying that's kind of weird. But
I called before we had any deal to talk about ownership of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Joe said otherwise. We then all agreed we'll do profit partners, which is fine. If you want to own the IP of this shit, it wasn't even an argument before my lawyer even got in on that shit. That was a simple Joe and I conversation. This your IP on your shit? Okay. But let's just be profit partners.
Right.
I'm not going to get paid off this podcast. Let's put some real sweat equity into the shit. If you want to own the shit, cool. And I won't take away from everything Joe did prior to start that podcast in the beginning. Won't take anything away from that. Never even came in on some, I need to own this shit. Did I bring it up first? Of course.
Right.
Who the fuck wouldn't?
Right.
It's a simple fucking thing. So then Spotify comes.
So this is where I was wrong yesterday. Yesterday I said there's nothing wrong with Rory asking could he own a portion of Joe Budden podcast. He just has to be prepared that the answer may be no. Rory just said right here, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong. I'm supposed to ask that. And he said no, he moved on. He didn't get the ownership, but he got the profit percentage portion, which is great.
Rosenberg emails me, says, hey, I think Spotify is interested in doing some podcast stuff. I said, all right, bet. I'll put you on with Ian. At this point, I had already tried to bring up negotiating an actual contract prior, so we could have avoided a lot of these things once a real deal came in.
Right.
But we had all agreed at that point verbally that it would just be a profit partner percentage. After expenses, 3 of us bust down this percentage. We all sit behind every expense, not even on some IP shit. Not once did my lawyer even bring up in that Spotify deal about IP or a back catalog or anything. So that's why this narrative gets a little fucking weird to me. Spotify comes, we actually have to get these contracts done because now real money is on the table.
Right.
Not what the title deal was, not what any other ad was, not what any other thing that I'm.
Now keep in mind, if it took a minute for them to get to Spotify. So all of this other stuff that's coming in, he wasn't doing the contract deal on. He waited till now to do the contract deal on for the percentages.
Privy to, that I'm privy to. Let me make that clear. Shit that I'm privy to.
Right.
So I hit my lawyer and I say, hey, let's get a contract. I'm not the smartest person in the world, never will claim to be. I'm not a lawyer, anything like that. But when you go into a negotiation with another lawyer, you start at the top with everything, and then lawyers just start taking shit off of what's not going to happen.
Correct.
This literally happened to me last week for a major television network. I won't name them. I'll name them once everything is ironed out with the lawyers. But they put on a Zoom call, they put everything on the table. Some stuff I know far-fetched, but while they put all of this on the table, there's a couple of things that I know are more important to me that I know that I can't sign this deal for. One of the things I can't sign a deal for is you can't tell me I can't do YouTube. I make money off YouTube. I won't do YouTube on the project we're doing. I won't discuss or talk about that, but I want to have the right to do YouTube. There's other things on there that I don't care about, but it's worked to my favor. I'm not going to fight hard for that. But if they roll over, if they read that and go, we'll give you that, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to be quiet like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take everything I can take. But I know there's certain things that I must have. And they on the other side thinking the same thing. There's certain things that they must have. And your lawyers all chop it up and then come down, and that's how you make a deal. There's nothing wrong with what Rory's saying.
So, of course, a lawyer goes in and says, visuals. Visuals now are YouTube. Okay, let's negotiate. They say no. We get into the negotiation. Lawyer goes back and forth with his lawyer. Joe and I speak on the side, one quick conversation. I never brought up YouTube money again. Not one time. Never came out of my fucking mouth.
I think it's important to highlight that.
Never came out of my fucking mouth after a lawyer who did their fucking job.
So Rory gave up on the YouTube during the negotiations, which is crazy to me. That's like URL does them that way. URL, unless specific in certain battle rappers contract, but for the most part, all the money from your YouTube go to URL. UFC, the fighters aren't making money off the YouTube views. But the thing with me is that if your contract is saying percentage based upon the podcast, YouTube is the podcast. It's a visual podcast. It's you saying, it's you talking, it's your words. Like, I would have fought harder for that, you know. And then to be fair to Joe Budden is looking at it as like, which is very creative for Joe Budden. He didn't make a separate channel for the Joe Budden podcast. He now has for the Joe Budden Network, which we'll get into. But he kept the Joe Budden podcast on his YouTube channel because he can say, I got videos with hundreds of millions of views, like pump it up. I got my old reality show I did way back in the day before reality television. I got hundreds and hundreds of videos on here prior to the Joe Budden podcast. This is my YouTube channel. And that gives Joe leverage in the negotiations, which I'm willing to bet is why Joe was so easy to take all the profit from them on YouTube. If this would have been a new YouTube channel that's just for the Joe Budden podcast, I think they would have had a great leg to stand on to say that that's for profit that they're pulling in.
And negotiated, brought that shit up. I said, all right, bet. Okay, wait. So visuals are not off the table, just YouTube. Mm-hmm. I'm cool.
Right.
Never going to hear about YouTube from me again. Like, that's whatever. Visual does not just mean YouTube. YouTube's not the only place on earth that does visual shit.
But I'm
fine with that.
Let me stop you right there. The only reason why I had a problem with that was because the podcast, yes, was the Joe Budden channel active before the podcast? Yes. It was housing his music stuff, his videos, whatever. But we know what the subscription was before we started putting the podcast on there. As we started putting the podcast on, it became a weekly thing.
You're right, Joey.
The subscription started to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the only reason why I had an issue with that, because okay, cool. Yeah, you started this channel, no problem. But I know how YouTube, you get paid each video off of each video.
So here's the thing. That conversation did happen between the lawyers.
And you can have the analytics for that too. You can see what video pulled in the most money, and you can see exactly when and exactly day. You see all of that behind the scenes on YouTube.
Because I know how the YouTube splits work and what that is. I'm familiar with it. Whether whatever side wants to say otherwise, and on what I know and what I don't know, I know how that shit works. So my lawyer did say to them at one point, the percentage we have on audio, we don't have to do on that YouTube page. Mm-hmm. I think that shit, the last thing she said was as low as like 2% on that.
Right.
Like
something.
And on top of that, we're sitting behind YouTube expenses, which cool. I see the bigger picture. I'm not flipping about this shit at all. This is 2021 shit.
Nobody's being greedy.
I'm saying back then, fuck, I never cared about the money on that shit, nor did I think YouTube had some crazy payouts at that time. Mm-hmm. It was just lawyers negotiating. That's what lawyers do. It's not annoying. It's a simple...
There's several small clues in here to let you know they're getting paid a lot of money. Because the stuff that they think is chump change that they throw away. Like earlier, I skipped past by her to say, yeah, we wouldn't get real money. We were getting like little ads. This ad give us $2,500. This ad give us $2,500. This ad give us $3,000. Man, you add up them little ads, you talking $15,000, $20,000 some $1,000 for an ad on one video. Like, that's little chump change that you throwing away. So y'all must be getting paid really well over there too. Another thing too, I don't know if he said in his analogy in this video where Mal say something, and I think he already said it, or it may come in, but Mal gonna say something like LeBron James isn't getting paid percentage. So no, he not asking to see the Lakers books. But what if LeBron James was getting paid 30% for profit? Then yeah, he gonna want to see the books. And I said to myself, he could have made up any number in the world. Why did he make up 30%? Is he saying he getting 30, and then Rory getting 30, and then Joe Budden getting what, 40%, something like that? He getting paid more than them because they're gonna allude that Joe got a bigger percentage. It was just interesting. There's no facts in that involved. It was just interesting that of all the numbers when he did his analogy, the number he threw out was 30%.
Fucking thing. And this was the simplest contract on earth. Mm-hmm. This shit was very easy. It was not some crazy back and forth.
But according to him, we don't know what the contract. We're percentage based.
Yes.
Because I see the narrative is people think that we work for Joe and we're employees and we get a salary. That's not what it was. We have a percentage-based contract.
And also people...
So we have to ask for accounting because...
After this, Joe Budden confirmed. So we don't have to go by he say, she say on this portion. Joe Budden went live and said, yes, they do get a percentage off the profits. But then he goes back and tries to play semantic and says, I'll play the clip and let y'all hear it.
How else will we know what we're supposed to get? We need to see the numbers. We get a percentage of whatever comes.
UFC championship fights. If you're the champion, you get a profit of the percentage of the pay-per-view. Only the champion. Everybody else are salaried. They come in knowing what they'll get, and they'll know the money they'll get if they win with the win bonus. The champion gets a percentage. So only the champion in the UFC fights who has that kind of a contract is privy to the pay-per-view numbers. He and his lawyers get to see the UFC pay-per-view numbers to make sure that the money that they give him is fair.
Comes in for the podcast. I've seen a lot of people making, LeBron wouldn't ask Jeannie Buss for the books for the Lakers. I'm like, LeBron is a salary. He don't give a fuck what the Lakers makes as long as he makes $50 million at the end of the year. He doesn't give a fuck what the Lakers make. But if he was getting a percentage, if he was getting 30% a year.
30%. Why did that automatically come out of Mal's mouth?
He would need to know what the Lakers made that year.
That's just basic.
So that's just to kill that narrative of we were asking to see the books and we are employees and that whole stupid.
This is where DJ Academics is wrong, because when he saw this part and he been clowning them on being workers, he just went back into semantics to try to say and destroy them and say that, well, if you had problems looking at the books, then you're not an owner, you're not a boss, you're not a boss. Bro, y'all don't get caught up on that word worker, boss. If you sitting back and you get 30% allegedly of a huge company that's pulling in all of this money, I don't care what your title is, bro. You have a contract and you getting paid a lot of money to basically sit around and talk to your friends, man.
Narrative. We had a percentage-based contract, so you have to see the numbers so that you see everything that's coming in and everything that's going out.
So we get to accounting, which is in our contract that was drawn up by Joe's lawyer, my lawyer, Mal's lawyer, super standard with profit. That becomes an issue. I want to make this clear throughout the rest of this response that I asked always the simplest questions ever. This narrative of me being this difficult person or this person wilding out.
He being white, he coming in there. Joe Budden see him. Hey, Joe, you mind if I take a look at this? Hey, man. Joe, that's your man's, man. That's your man's. They're going to do stuff the right legal way. If you want to be a businessman, as you say, you want to come out here and teach everybody, this should not have been an issue for you.
Also have those emails that everyone speaks about where I'm being difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how dumb you think I am, but accounting is not some shit you send in a 5-line item in the body of an email.
Right.
Just want to make that clear.
Right.
And when I asked for accounting, I didn't think asking for what's in your contract is such a fucking crazy thing to ask somebody, your friend or not. And on top of that, I sit behind the accounting expense.
Right.
I'm not going to say the company's name because it's not important.
I mean, I'm quite sure y'all know what he mean when he say he sit behind the accounting expense. It means that all three of them are paying for these accountants. So this man is paying this company. It's in his contract that he gets to see this quarterly. That's 4 times a year. They're never, ever, ever, ever going to get it to this day. They don't have it. They don't have it. You're supposed to get this 4 times a year, and to this day, they don't have it once. Because each time they got a fake little portion was an Excel spreadsheet. Me and Joe would be fine at that point, because I get triggered when you insult my intelligence. I would have swung on them. You know what I'm saying? But at the beginning, I said that Mal and Rory has some responsibility to do with this. And again, you are in charge of how you let people treat you. Mal is going to say something that I totally disagree with. He's going to say, I will never take my mans to court. You got life fucked up, bro. Unless he means this. I will never take my mans to court. Because if someone cheat me out of my money, you no longer my mans. And I would take your ass to court. I would take you not my mans. If someone is my mans, means they not trying to do no foul shit to me, I won't take you to court. If they are all getting a percentage, right, that means Joe Budden getting a percentage too. If they go look in accounting and it's wrong, wouldn't that means if there was an innocent mistake from the accountant firm, wouldn't that mean that they gypped Joe Budden too? Wouldn't that mean that Joe Budden is owed money with them? So unless an accounting firm is going in to work for Joe Budden and say, okay, this percentage we'll leave alone, but from their two pals, we'll steal money. Joe's going to protect us because Joe's not going to let them see what we're doing and give him access to it, because Mal said he'll never take him to court. But if it's a simple accounting mistake, then Joe Budden lost money too. Fishy shit, man, going on. Fishy stuff going on.
Right.
But they're not a cheap company to hire.
Right.
They're expensive. And whether they do Joe's personal life, not my business, do not care at all. Nor am I trying to get into Joe's personal life or personal business outside of the podcast.
We just talking about the contract that
I
we
sit
have.
behind that expense, and it's in my contract. If I ask the simple fucking question of, hey, let me see the accounting, because it's also supposed to be there quarterly by law. And
that's another thing. You're supposed to. Well, we're supposed to get accounting quarterly. If you want to do it twice a year, that's cool. Whatever. But I'm
fine with that.
Right, but I think
it don't even need to be quarterly.
Right, but
it could be once a year.
I think
I'm
that
easy
people
to work with.
Right, people don't understand that this isn't something that just happened last month or March. Like, we were trying to just get some type of accounting since 2019, maybe.
No, way before that.
All I can remember is 2019.
Yeah, I'd have to look back.
Like, we had tried to get some type of accounting when we had the conversation outside of the studio. Like, yo, we never got accounting. Like, what's up? What's going on? You know, we just need to see what's going on with the numbers. And it's like every time it came to talk about accounting or business, it was always, you know, some negative energy coming from him. And that.
The only way to take up for Joe Budden, and it still would be wrong on this sensitivity he has, is that he admitted, you know, that he's paranoid and he don't like people questioning him, which is kind of childish. But that's the best possibility. In any other walks of life, if you in business with somebody and it's to get fishy every time he has to see accounting, I'm going to think somebody doing some shady shit. I'm sorry. You doing some shady shit to me. That's the worst case scenario. And then you look at the other stuff that they're going to mention.
That's telling to me. It's like, why are you getting so defensive when we're asking for something that's just protocol? And
because if he a profit partner, that means the nonprofit, he is paying for the workers. He's a boss. Yeah. I have to ask why they kept letting things slide. Sounds like because they were getting paid good. That could possibly be a red herring too, Randall, meaning going off subject. But that is a red herring. Not for you. It's going to be a red herring with Joe Budden bring it up. I don't give a damn if you overpaying me. That's a total different subject of my contract says I should see accounting quarterly. Give me my motherfucking accounting that's in my contract. Then, you know how much better friends we could be? I can look and see you're supposed to pay me $15,000, but instead of paying me $15,000, you actually paid me $50,000? My nigga, look at my mans. It's not an indictment against you if I'm supposed to see something that you and your lawyer agreed to put in our contract. That's you going back into that personal paranoia thing that you said that you like to talk to a shrink about. Something you got to work out with yourself. I'm being normal. They are being normal when they ask to see accounting quarterly. They're being pushovers when they're settled for less. When something seems fishy and you say it don't have to be quarterly, it can be twice a year. And then they still not showing you nothing and you say it don't have to be twice a year, it can be once a year. You are teaching people how to respect you. You always teach. I tell people this about dogs. I try to tell, don't get mad at me, women. Don't get mad at me because I'm about to stereotype, especially when it comes to these little dogs. You always teaching your dog something. I don't tell a dog what to do when I'm lazy. Because I'm going to tell you what happened when you lazy. You lazy and you tell the dog, hey, get down off that chair. The dog doesn't get off the chair. You're lazy. You don't feel like doing nothing. So you go watch TV. You think everything cool, but a dog wants to know whether it's a beta or you're an alpha. You just taught the dog that maybe you're not an alpha. Maybe I don't need to listen to you. You just taught that dog they don't have to listen. So every time I say something to a dog, they're going to do it. I don't care if I'm in my comfortable chair and I don't feel like getting up. When I looking at it and do it, I'm getting up. I'm setting a consistent pattern that you do what I say every single time. And then neighbors always run up to me. I thought you had an electric fence. Why your dog don't run? You walk over here across the street to the barbecue. Why your dog don't leave the yard? Because I consistently taught my dog don't go past the mailbox. I don't need no electric fence. You think you're not teaching somebody something. You always teaching somebody something. Mal and Rory is consistently teaching Joe and giving Joe signals. It is okay to fuck me. It's okay to fuck me.
In business, when you have a contract based off of profit percentages and all of that, like this is basic shit we're asking for.
And still, by the way, in the beginning when Mal and I were asking, because I initially asked and got back bodies of emails when it came to tour accounting, Spotify accounting, whatever we was doing, which again was not complaining in that type of sense. It was say just send over like the real shit when you get a chance. Like I understand people who are working. That was met with such tension every time I asked a simple question. My naive ass, nothing's wrong.
Right.
I'm taking accountability on that. Nothing's wrong.
But we took.
I also want to make that clear because that became a narrative, even though it is later on in what I want to get to. I don't think anyone's a thief.
We never said that.
I don't think anyone's stealing. I never even said.
They lying. I'm gonna show you that they lying. They lying. They do think somebody's a thief.
Hey,
it was a simple.
This is missing.
Can we just have the accounting?
At this point?
Yeah, we just wanted the accounting. And I, from what I remember in 2019, when we finally got it, there was a quote unquote $400 and something thousand mistake.
So
I don't know what accountant makes a $400,000 mistake.
So,
but okay, you know, everybody, nobody's perfect. So I'm putting that out there. But
here come the biggest thing about that. That's not that big to me. I'm gonna show you the biggest thing.
It was just a little weird to me.
So end of 2019. Yes, you are correct in that timeline. End of 2019 is when we got the Excel sheet accounting. They went from the body of the
Excel sheet. So basically they still did not get accounting. But even on the Excel sheet that anybody can type in whatever we want, there's a mistake.
Email, and then just gave me an Excel sheet with a few more line items. And my high school diploma asked before I sent it to my accountant, which also is standard business. You're not offending your friends. This is just how shit works. I'm not calling anyone a thief.
Being white.
Right.
People have accountants not because people are thieves,
right? Just
because of that,
right?
And I'm being funny when I say that he being white, but all I'm saying is that he's gonna go by the book, and there's nothing wrong with going by the book. He's doing exact. You can predict what Rory's gonna do. Just look at the rules of what you should do. Hey, here's some accounting information. I'm gonna give it to my lawyer to look through. You can predict what he's gonna do. You should expect everybody to do that because it's the right thing to do. You should expect if you gonna go work with a company, you go do a commercial for Chips Ahoy or whatever, they're gonna do that. I mean, everybody gonna go by the book. Joe don't want his friends to go by the book.
They have them because they need to monitor their fucking money.
Right.
I find something immediate.
Yeah, you know I'm being funny, Joey. We saying the same thing though. But you saying all that credit. I'm telling black people they need to fucking do it. We need to be diligent. We do. We need to be just as I am. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I'm looking at everything. We need to be diligent. We don't need to be like Joe Budden, and we don't need to be like Mal sitting back letting all this shit fucking fly. We need to be diligent. And in the beginning, the only person that's coming up, the first person to talk about paperwork was Rory. The first person trying to get everything legalized, Rory. We need to be like that. Hold ourselves accountable.
Immediately. Mm-hmm. And I don't get disrespectful because I understand people make mistakes, and nor do I think people are stealing. That's my man. I love him. I don't think he's stealing from me.
Right.
This is some shit we doing, and I know Joe got a lot of other shit going on. I got a lot of other shit going on. You got a lot of other shit going on. Mm-hmm. People make mistakes.
Right.
And by the way, nor do I think Joe did the accounting. Right. The people that was hired to do it did it. Mm-hmm. So I send that back. I say, hey, this appears to be a mistake. If I'm wrong, let me know.
Accounting can still find if Joe did something too, because if accounting saying that you're supposed to get this amount of money, and it paid out, and you didn't get that amount, it went to Joe first. and he distributed to you all not based upon your percentages. So accounting has the possibility to show if Joe did something wrong too. Not saying that he did, could be a possibility mixed with his natural paranoia.
Mm-hmm. They come back and say, this big accounting company, which I will not say, said, you're right. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
We were wrong. Mm-hmm. I say, okay, cool. Then I watch Joe say, in a very condescending, sarcastic tone, Rory came to me and said, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust wealth management. Well, he said the name, so I can say it. Mm-hmm. Fam, yeah, I don't care how condescending you say that. And it contradicts the fuck what you were saying. I never thought you was stealing.
Right.
I'm trying to understand what the fuck they're doing over here, because this is incorrect.
Right.
And I sit behind this expense.
More importantly,
off subject, Rory says fuck with the maximum like umph on it every single time. You're supposed to have different degrees of when you say fuck. Like all his fucks are maximum. It's just that little thing always annoyed me, even on the show. And every time he does it here, once I tell you that you can't unhear it, he goes overboard with every fuck. That sounds funny.
I'm paying for this, right?
And on top of that, there should already be podcast accounting. Mm-hmm. You saying everyone has to run and do all this, and you're taking away from the overall goal. But like, fam, I'm just asking what's in the contract. Your lawyer, if you should know you should know your contract the same way you saying that to me. If this was going to be an issue,
you might want to check that Hood Nerd Sports and Rapping Gaming, because when they're asking for the books, they're asking for everything. They're asking for each detailed contract that they're doing. That's what they're asking for. They're not asking for an Excel spreadsheet.
You should have told your lawyer that you didn't.
Or it should be paperwork to show where it's from. How do you know where the number's coming from on the Excel spreadsheet? That's the information. You think when Floyd Mayweather getting these percentages off of pay-per-view and he's selling 100 million like 4.6 million pay-per-view buys, you think you can give Floyd Mayweather an Excel sheet and you can't show where these numbers coming from? You don't think Floyd wants a breakdown of the percentage of how many people in Asia bought this pay-per-view and how many people in Delaware, like the exact breakdown? You think that he's just going to get an Excel spreadsheet?
Did not agree on accounting.
Right. Yeah.
Your lawyer agreed to accounting. Mm-hmm. A body of an email and an Excel spreadsheet that...
You need to pay attention to the sentence Joe said right after that, and how that's why he shut down the live. He said they're not profit partners. They gain a percentage based upon what we make from the show. What the fuck? I'm gonna play it. Joe is razzled, man, because they stayed calm and collective on here. He razzled. He done went live twice on Instagram. Twice now, and contradicted himself. This is after this show, and I'll play it on here.
That people punch numbers into is not accounting. I don't care what you say. As a profit partner, that's not how it works.
It's not accounting.
I've talked with every lawyer and accountant I possibly fucking could have, because I didn't want to be wrong on this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm new to this the same way we all were new to this. Mm-hmm. We've all run business shit outside of this, but this is a new thing, especially to the degree of money that the three of us have gotten from it. Right. This is a new thing. Right. So I went back and double checked, because I don't even want to accuse my man that maybe I'm wrong, because everything I've done has been through.
Another possibility I thought of too, and it's only because we don't know, and you be trying to look for the good in people. You know what I'm saying? He probably fought these guys, but if he didn't, and if he overpaid them like he said he did, he got to get that money from somewhere. He may be afraid was Parks and whatever the other guys back at there who hungry, who being overworked, as we gonna get into here. He had to, if he overpaid them, he pulling money from somewhere. He maybe don't want people to see what all he done did to them books to get them that extra money. That would be his only saving grace. But if that was the case, he still could have got out of it by simply saying, pulled them to the side and just told them the truth. Y'all my mans. I gotta admit something to y'all, man. I was just trying to make sure y'all eat. This is what happened. Obviously, he didn't do that.
Ledgers, QuickBooks,
it was never no
everything.
Accusations.
Ever.
It was
Not
never.
once.
It was never. He was the one that brought that to the table. Like, you know, y'all are trying to paint me a certain way, and I'm like,
I'm gonna show you how he used the Joe Budden network to fuck them over too. It's something he said on the last live I'm talking about that showed me he's using the Joe Budden network to fuck over the Joe Budden podcast.
what are you talking about? Like, we're just saying that we received accounting, and then there was a $400 and something thousand quote unquote mistake, and after that we never got accounting again. So I'm just like, all right, so what the fuck is going on? Like, is the mistake fixed? Can we get the updated version of accounting? Like, nothing.
So wealth management.
And they let that slide. Again, teaching Joe Budden what he can do to them. Also, too, I think I missed it when I said what was important. It wasn't to me that they think that there was a $400,000 mistake. The most important thing is that they said accounting admitted that there was a mistake. That sentence there is nothing should be more damaging to Joe than the fact that it's in their contract to receive this quarterly 4 times a year, and he's still not doing it and upholding his part of the contract. So that's the most damaging thing. But if you want to add some more flavor to it, the fact that the accountants confirmed that it was a mistake.
Management hits me, says, hey, yeah, we made a mistake. We're correcting the mistake. Here you go.
Joey Donut said if there's profit partners, there's no being overpaid. Yes, there is. If you're private partners and he's giving you like more money than your percentage says, just like you can be a private partner, you can get less paid. If you're supposed to get 30% and he's not giving you 30%, then you're not paying enough. If he's supposed to be giving you 30% and he's giving you more than that, yeah.
I said, okay, bet. I talked with Joe, or I talked with Ian, honestly can't remember, about a better strategy to go about doing this. From rip, I've always been the one on trying to do a better strategy with going about these things, because I've noticed, and at this point not mad at it, I've just noticed anytime
Joey Donuts are taking money off of the expense. Too. That's another option it can come from.
I ask a very simple question, I met with so much anger and tension off like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, Trap said a player. We talked about that red herring when you try to throw something in that's really not on the subject. Whether you paid them more money than you should have is a total separate subject than honoring the contract. Joe Budden is going to over and over again throw red herrings out there, especially when he start, I don't even know if it's a red herring or an ad hominem attack, when he starts attacking them personally. I think it's a bit of both of them.
Okay. So my accountant gets on with wealth management. My lawyer gets on with wealth management. They even talk about, yo, just come down. We'll open shit up. You guys could look at it. I wasn't even going to go. Why would I go? I don't give a fuck. My accountant can go. Just to get the regular shit, because maybe they have a lot going on, and maybe my accountant can just look at it and be like, all right, bet. That's the end of 20.
Yo, Rory didn't care about Joe Budden being popular, famous. It seems like since day one, Rory came in here on some legit business shit. From day one. Even when he being aggravated, even when he being cussed out, he is stuck to his guns on doing stuff the legal right way.
2019, pandemic hits. Who gives a fuck?
No, we had a talk. No, because we can't skip over this. We had a talk before the pandemic hit about accounting again. And this was right after Cole passed away, and we were outside the studio. And he was the first, because now I'm seeing this narrative that we're auditing him.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first one that even brought auditing to the table. When we asked him for accounting, he said, y'all got accounting. We said, yeah, but that was wrong. It was a mistake on that. Like, where's the new one? And he was like, oh, y'all trying to paint me away, da-da-da. And I'm like, no.
Red herring. Y'all trying to paint me a certain way? None of that matters. None of that matters. Red herring number 3.
We just want the correct accounting. Oh, well, then audit me then.
All right.
So I'm going to break down what he means in plain English. Y'all keep asking for something, even though you got the legal right, even though I agreed to it and put in the contract. Y'all still asking for me this. Fuck y'all. Fuck the contract. Sue me. That's what Joe Budden means when he says, audit me then. So from the beginning, the only person who was talking about suing, you got, you know what I'm saying? You got to take him to court to audit. Only person talking about that suing is Joe Budden. Even when he went on his rant, they go do another podcast, I'll sue him. He's the only one threatening because he so don't want to honor the contract that they have.
And I'm like, audit you? I'm like, bro, fam, that's nasty. I'm not taking my niggas to court. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This is the worst thing Mal ever said. The worst thing. I wonder what his brother is saying. I wonder what Mal's brother is saying. Like, bro, what do you mean you want to take somebody? You see what happened with me, Dame, and Jay-Z? Like, you want to take somebody to court? Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your friend. The most polarizing people, that we like to watch, they are eccentric, man. You know, I'm eccentric. You know what I'm saying? They're not normal people. So like you're dealing with different kind of mindsets. You know, you got to be careful. You got to look at every single thing, and you got to look at the inside core of what makes them rock. Joe Budden is always getting into it with his friends and people and coworkers in the past in every single situation, and he refuses to look at himself in the mirror. And now you sit here after Joe Budden has agreed to do these on his terms. Joe Budden agreed, his lawyer agreed, you agreed, your lawyer agreed, and he's saying, fuck all that shit. You got to like really look at people, man, and you see all of this, and you say he's my man so much after he dog you that way that you will never, ever take him to court because it's nasty. It's the worst shit Mal ever said, bro.
Like, that's just but again, looking back, everything makes sense now. Like, everything is starting to come together and paint a picture, because it's like, yo, why do you always get so hostile and so argumentative when we're trying to just get the business side right and focused and taken care of?
Which isn't even a large part of the business, honestly.
It's not.
There's so much more
but
to
it's like, fam, you got to remember, again, we're profit partners. We're we have a percentage-based contract, an agreement where we get a percentage off of everything that's coming in for the pod. So we have.
Hey, Maz, it's not gonna. You gotta approve their comment if they cuss. So I don't care if they cuss, man. Just approve their comment so it can be seen, because it blocked Randall J. Donald Trump comment because he said shit. So approve that if you see it, Flow Easy.
Have to see the money that's coming in. How else will we know what the fuck we getting? And then he had the nerve to say, one of the last conversations we had, he tells me, "Oh, you got a calculator, right?"
Yeah.
And this is for me. This is when
my story.
This is when, for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to pull away from this in a minute, because I don't even know who this nigga is anymore, and I don't know who this nigga think he talking to. And I'm not trying to. That energy to me is corny to even have that type of energy with niggas you call.
But sometimes you got to. If a nigga clowning like this so hard and all this stuff, like, sometimes you may gotta look at him and let him know, like, you willing to slap him in the fucking face in front of his girl. Sometimes that shit is warranted. Especially if you lost something you shouldn't have lost, and you lost respect by allowing this to happen for too long. If respect is here, this is normal, and you lost it. You can't come back here. In order to come back here, you gotta overjump you gotta go above and beyond. You got to do some shit that you shouldn't have normally have done to be right here. You got to go above. You got to let that nigga know that there could be some serious consequences to your health if you try to fuck me. I'm not the nigga to fuck with like this. Sometimes you got to leave your corporate voice in it.
Or your friends. Like, I don't even want to have that type of energy on me, right?
Nobody wants to. So
when we started talking like that, and I told you this, I said, fam, I'm not even sure who this nigga is anymore. Because he's saying things, he's moving a certain way, he's wearing funny hats. I don't know who this nigga is anymore.
Don't do that.
I'm just being real. I never seen a nigga wear a Mary hat in my life.
I wasn't mad at some of that, man.
I'm just saying, I've never seen a nigga wearing a Mary hat in my life. So that for me was telling. I was like, oh, this he's transforming into somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why is it an issue? But for me, it was like, you know, you just talking to certain people and everybody telling you like, yo, listen, I did business with him. Watch that nigga, man. I'm like, Joe ain't gonna do that to me.
Wow, this is Mal getting in his bag, right? On this part, this is also Mal telling about Mal earlier, and at the end of this thing, they're gonna say it's not about distrusting Joe. He's gonna say that he trusts Joe. He just wants to see the books. But now you're telling us things that's in your psyche, in your head, what people told you. You're gonna give us examples of how the money don't add up. So you can't sit up here and tell the audience that it has nothing to do with trust. There was mistrust involved in this situation. You gotta listen to people talk.
That's my nigga. He ain't doing that with me.
It honestly, never even crossed my mind.
Never crossed my mind. But now when this becoming argumentative and niggas are saying this and saying that, every time accounting comes up, I'm like, fam, why is it only an issue when accounting comes up?
The same way he said, why is it only a problem when money get brought in?
And again, my thing is, it's not about the money. It just became a point where the respect level just started to disappear, and you start talking to me like I work for you. And it's like, my nigga, I don't work for you. I don't work for you, bro. I don't know what type of meetings you having and who's talking to you and who's breaking down what to you. I don't work for you, bro. Like, this is something we built and pushed together. Yeah, I came on episode 77, but who gives a fuck? Before that, it wasn't no money here. Let's just be honest. It wasn't what it is now.
And you never argued IP. I want to make that clear.
Never.
Rory never argued IP. Maul never argued IP. I never
argued that. It was never about that. I'm like, fam, I want this to be I want this to be as simple and easy as possible. This should be the
I agree, Hood Nerd. If the business gets right, I believe Rory would come back because Rory's about business. Rory still hasn't slandered Joe. Yeah, I would. It's more problem. I'm on some Mal shit, man. You can't go out and disrespect me to the entire country, especially in hip hop. Hip hop culture is ran by more younger people. The younger people are listening to people like DJ Academics. So when you give a person who's trying to destroy my life ammunition to go on a tirade to make a large part of our audience think that I'm a fucking clown, you gotta see these hands, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or I gotta go on the show and I just gotta blatantly disrespect you to let people know, like, you know, like I'm not one of your stooges. You're not gonna do me like that. Like, can you imagine Joe doing all that screaming and shit? This was Joe wrong when he get emotional. Joe do all that screaming shit, right? And talk down, or you hide detergent, talk greasy and shit. But because he's an emotional person, he comes off of that emotional high until where he's calm and more collected. And then he realized the mistake he made. After realizing the mistake he made, he wants to contact you in private and work everything out. Now, Joe not keeping in mind, because he's a narcissist, how this looks on the reputation of your friend. To your friend, you clown and belittle and put him down. The whole country laughing at your friend. And then because it was handled behind the scenes, the next time we see your friend who you clown, he's on your show and y'all smiling and everything good. Nah, you need to be disrespected in publicly. I need to show these niggas how our relationship really work. I need to show these niggas I'm not nobody to fuck with like that. I wouldn't even be comfortable unless I clowned Joe in his face and everybody saw it. That could be prideful, it could be whatever. That's just me. Like, you're not going to do me like that. I'm just going to smile and go back in it, especially for somebody like Mal, which is the exact amount of funds. Ain't all that important to him.
Simplest bag, the simplest money we ever make, because essentially what are we doing? We sitting down as friends and we kicking it. Yeah. We don't have to complicate this thing. But then after a while, once bigger checks start to come in, and once we're touring and all of this, it's like you start to see niggas moving certain ways, and it's like, all right, fam, it's just weird. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And for a while, my energy started to disappear because, like I said, I don't even know who I'm dealing with anymore at this point. Mm-hmm. And I know money changes niggas, and I understand that.
No, it doesn't. Money doesn't change anyway.
Money magnifies who you are.
Makes you more of what you already are.
It magnifies who you are. And I get it, bro. Like, I understand.
And again, this is not an assassination character. Sorry to cut you off. It's not an assassination character because I don't want to go in the same route that they went.
I'm not assassinating.
Joe has done great things with money and great positive things, because I do think there is a good part of him, but there's also this other part,
right? Absolutely.
What you're speaking to.
Yeah,
I think Joe has some amazing qualities.
I think so too when he wants to, but I also I'm learning because, see, you got to give shit time to fall the way it's gonna fall.
Yeah, you got to give time,
right? And you got to just watch people. And you know, I heard Joe say, "Oh yeah, me and Maul never broke down a bag or bust down bread together," whatever he said.
Before he break this down, just know Joe Budden saying that Mal never broke down and busted bread with him is another red herring. It's just another thing to further try to destroy his credibility, even though it's not on the subject of what this was supposed to be about, which is in our contract, we are allowed quarterly, 4 times a year, to see accounting.
And I'm like, my nigga, that's not true. Like, when you was still rapping and shit, I had you do verses for niggas that I know. I had you do videos with niggas that I know. Like, I had you through walkthroughs with promoters that I know, like in Connecticut and shit like that. Like, I tried to like bring shit to the table, like, but again, it's never about money for me. It's all about you my man. Listen, if it's some bread out here to get, go get it. If I know some niggas that's trying to do a party and they want you to do a walkthrough and all that, yo, here, let me set it up for you. But now, you know, that is bigger money coming in and all that. Shit just got weird, bro. Like, shit just got very weird for me. And I'm not good with doing weird shit. I don't do weird shit. I don't like weird energy from niggas. Like, I remove once I see niggas doing weird, funny shit,
Yo, what the hell, bro?
Get to the truth.
And let's try to get to it quick, because I do want this to be straight.
Hold on. Let me see what the time it was. My bad, man. I got a guess of where it was.
To the point.
Time.
This is after expenses.
Mal goes in about 25 minutes.
And man, listen, if it's some bread out here to get, go get it. If I know some niggas that's trying to do a party and they want you to do a walkthrough and all that,
look how good
here, let me set it up for you. But now, you know, that is bigger money coming in and all that. Shit just got weird, bro. Like, shit just got very weird for me. And I'm not good with doing weird shit. I don't do weird shit. I don't like weird energy from niggas. Like, I remove once I see niggas doing weird, funny shit, I just get away from that. Like, I don't even want to be around that type of shit. And now it's to a point where you saying things and, you know, you got other niggas in the room saying things and chiming in. And I'm like, yo, what's up with y'all niggas? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Change niggas.
So now I'm sitting here working. Now everything is starting to become really clear to me. Like, shit is starting to really become clear to me. Like, oh, you niggas been having little conversations and conspiring shit for a minute. You niggas been trying to, like, set shit.
Let somebody talk long enough, you'll see what they covet and what they really care about. We've been told at the beginning of this it wasn't about money and they trust Joe. It's about money and they didn't trust Joe. And it looks like he's giving them reason. And he's letting you know a little bit of things. So, Mal, I rock with you. I rock with Maury, you know what I'm saying? Not Maury, Rory. I'm agreeing with y'all side, but I'm not agreeing that you trusted Joe. You did not trust Joe.
You know, playing with the chess piece and try to set shit up to look a certain way for a while now, because now that the shit is out the bag, I'm starting to see everybody's true feelings on certain things. And people is talking about business that they don't know nothing about. They talking about contracts that they don't know nothing about. And I'm just like, fam, what the fuck is going on here, man? And then you saying shit, I lived with you. You making it sound like, nigga, I wasn't. When you met me, I had money in my pocket, nigga. I might have had more money in my pocket than you had if we keeping it 100. I was always hustling, always doing shit I shouldn't have been doing, that I didn't really want to do at a time in my life.
Allegedly.
Yo, I don't know if y'all remember when I did the man-to-man on Math Hoffa, and the issue was when Math Hoffa punched Sirius Jones, he had came home and said that he blacked out. And what I was saying is it would have been better for Math Hoffa had he just said, I didn't like Sirius Jones, so I punched him in the face. Math Hoffa didn't want to say it because to him that sounds negative. But to me, if you just don't like somebody and you punch him in the face, you can change that action. You can go to anger management. There are things you can do to stop yourself from being in that position. But when you tell me you black out, you can't make me feel secure that you won't black out again. That's a medical issue, bro. Like, you can't make me feel safe. Joe Budden gets so emotional, it's like he fucking black out and wigs out on his friends. And then now he got to go on IG with a sad voice saying, man, my guys are hurt, man, my guys are hurting, and feeling all sad and feeling embarrassed. And he would not have taken those actions. But time and time again, throughout history, Joe Budden take his long hand and finger and points and do that, you, and yell and do all of that stuff. What I'm getting at is there's nothing to stop him from doing this shit again. There's nothing to stop him from doing. Like, I wouldn't feel safe in business with someone like that. This is a guy that you're going to learn that has told people, I'm not honoring contracts. And after you hear this, you have a contract with him and he's not honoring your contract, and you're his mans. You're his mans.
Allegedly. But I'm just saying, like, I was always a nigga that if I had to go get it, I would go get it. So don't try to paint me like I'm some nigga that you found on the street and I was fucked up, I was homeless, and I was sleeping on your couch. I'm hiding detergent and all this shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Let's talk about what you hiding.
And this is when I was riding in my car, right? Going to the mountains to go film yesterday, and I saw this part of the blog. And it's always the crazy people that get off the hook easy. Always. You got a friend. And this is why people don't understand why I go into demon mode on a motherfucker. I'm super nice. I try to be intelligent, well imposed. But even when I go in demon mode and try to kill a motherfucker, not physically kill him, but try to destroy him, it's for a strategic purpose. I haven't gotten too angry and left my realm of thought. I'm strategically doing something because I know we live in an unforgivable world. Joe Budden got mad that they didn't come into work last Monday, and because of this, he done went off on one of his closest friends, saying he moved and lived with him and hiding the turn, doing all this foul stuff publicly. Mal, Rory, none of them has done this. You got their enemy, DJ Academics, trying his hardest 7 days a week to destroy them, and you they mans. You they friend, and you go do the same thing. But bad people always get off the hook easy. Because I know what Mal thinking right now. When two guys are friends or two women are friends, if you're two people close friends, they both know dirty shit about each other. But you go and try to paint this on Mal, and you get off easy because you got the friend in Mal that is mature enough to say, I'm not even going to air you out. Given the history of the guys, given the drug use of the guys, given the alleged assault of women of the guys, if I were a betting man, who would I place my money on that has the most dirt on the other person? I'll place my money that Mal has the most dirt on Joe, but Joe gets off light because Joe's friend is a stand-up guy who can think rationally and say, I ain't gonna even kill him like that. I'm not that dude. You try to kill me like that, I'm coming right back to kill you even harder. I'm not doing the same thing you do because I feel like you prepared for that. I'm going demon mode on you. You have to hurt to understand that I'm not somebody that's going to allow this to happen to him. You have to hurt. If you don't hurt, I can't ensure myself that you're going to do it again, especially with your emotional, paranoid personality that you have now. I have to hurt you. I have to show you that there are other options you may want to take than to go to this route.
Because every time it's a talk about accounting, it's always some argumentative energy coming from you.
Flo Easy said, how do you beat a narcissist? Everybody covets something. You want to beat anybody on earth, find out what they covet and destroy it. Everybody covets something. Narcissists are easy. They covet themselves. Destroy them.
You only, not from me, not from you.
Never.
I'm never arguing about money, especially not with my niggas. I'm not doing that. But if every time we present some shit about accounting and you want to start arguing to them, well, audit me then, fam, I'm never taking my niggas to court. And the first thing you say is,
second thing he said, Mal, I like you as a man, as a human being. But man, you are not a good person when it comes to protecting yourself. You may be a good person at being loyal to your friends and other people, but you got to put that mirror up and protect yourself. Stop saying you will never take your mans to court. Because if there's a situation that arises, that some foul stuff happens, that you know you win in court, that means he did something to show that he's not your mans.
If y'all try to start a podcast, I'm suing the pants off of y'all. Who are you, my nigga?
But you won't take him to court. But he already threatened you publicly after trying to embarrass you as an adult, as a man.
Like, who did you just turn into? Everything that we stood for on this podcast all these years about, you know, corporate fucking over the creatives and this, that. Like, I've seen Joe do fucked up shit in business and music to companies and labels. But I don't care about that because they owe us anyway. So fuck them.
Mm-hmm. True. I like that. But it still was something to show you bad about Joe.
Never in a million years did I think you would be sitting somewhere talking crazy about me. Not a nigga like me. A nigga that ain't been nothing but stand up with you. As long as you know me, I never did no foul shit to Joe. Never. In fact, I've gotten Joe out of situations where it could have been bad for him. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like really bad for him.
I can see having a different lens.
I frontlined that. Me. Mm. When that shit happened with Consequence, my man popped on Cons. No disrespect to Cons. But that was my homie.
This is sad, bro. A man punches you in the face on national television, and when he does this, Joe Budden calls Mal. And this is what I try to tell y'all young kids. I was thinking about DJ Academics on this part. It's the quiet people who you don't assume can get you touched. Joe Budden calls Mal. Mal got the goons that go handle consequence for touching Joe Budden. Mal, stand-up guy, stand-up friend, and then take this information and then go listen to what Joe put out last week. And you supposed to just talk to Joe nice behind the scenes, y'all make up. If you disrespect me publicly, it has to end publicly. I ain't never let nobody disrespect me publicly and we go be cool behind the scenes and then y'all see us smiling the next day. You got life fucked up. Because that's a stain on my reputation. I done taught the world how to treat me. You do all this stand-up stuff for Joe, and this is what I'm saying. Like these young kids be talking about, like DJ Academics be talking so greasy to a lot of different grown men. It's simple math. These young kids be like, "Yo, DJ Academics got money now; he can hire security." And then what's gonna happen? How you gonna debate and take up for DJ Academics when he just smashed a chick at a hotel? And she want to run inside the store to get a Tropicana to drink when he take her home. And it's him and the chick and somebody see him in the car and beat his ass at the store. Ain't nobody, why would you want to live your life where you got to be 110% protected at all time because you want to sound greasy because you felt like you was a nerd that wasn't getting the respect and now you're in a position to where you can get the respect and say these things. You become the villain that you claim that you hated from the beginning. You become a caricature of yourself. And meanwhile, you saying all this greasy shit about Millie Mal and Rory, and you laughing and entertaining, and the shit is all funny. And Mal sit back quietly, make a phone call, and you get touched. Kids, man.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That was my homie that frontlined that. Mm-hmm. He called, yo, nigga Cons swung on me. Yo, niggas got to come down here. Say no more. But now you trying to play it like I was some flunky nigga sleeping on the couch like you found me on some corner and gave a nigga a roof over you. Who you fuck you think you talking to, nigga? And I don't mean to present this type of energy, man, but that shit, niggas ain't going to assassinate Mal's character. My shit been A1. Any nigga that know me that had dealings with me, my shit is A1. So don't ever sit nowhere on no fucking platform and try to make it seem like you came and saved me from the streets or you scooped me up off a corner and I was in front of 7-Eleven stinking and shit. We not doing that. We not doing that. That's not happening. I don't like doing this shit. Mal's real cool. I don't even put this type of energy out there. But when niggas try to defamate my character, I don't play with that. You could steal from me.
Yo, man, I was riding up yesterday past the mountains and stuff, and he said defamate, and I was like, sounds weird. Can put my mouth on it. I'm like, because I'm thinking of defamation. Like defamation, defamate. Maybe it's some shit. I don't know. I couldn't let it go. He kept saying defamate, and I was like, it's defame, ain't it? It's defame. Like, is this a missing part that I know? Is it defame, defamate, defamation, or is it defame, defamation? Hey, I had a little brain freeze. I'm like, yo, it's defame, brother. But this is why I love the world we live in. Mal, go out and make you some defamate shirts, bro. Get you a check. Right now, have them shits ready for Monday. We're in the Breakfast Club and everybody talk about y'all situation. Mal, go make some defamate shirts. I will buy one and support you.
You could take money from me. You could do whatever you want. But one thing you not going to do is defamate.
Flip it like my boy DJ Travo saying. Put on the shirt. Defame plus defecate equals, I can't even say it. Defamate. Get paid, bruh.
My character and try to put me out here to the people like I'm some nut ass nigga. We not doing that. That's not fuck this podcast, fuck this money, fuck all of this shit. You not gonna defamate my character, my nigga.
It's funny because I think defamate might be an actual word. Man, let's do it right now, bro. Let's look this up, bro. Let's look this up right now, man. Defamate. Defamate is in the Urban Dictionary. To demean, I wonder when this was put in October the 8th of 2015. So this may be some grandma shit. You know how your grandma used to say some words and it end up turning into some shit we all say? Like he said in the conversate. Defamate, to demean, degrade, or defame something or someone to the point they feel like a pile of excrement. What? And this is 2015, so this ain't nobody updated this for Mal. Oh man, defamate, Oxford Dictionary. Let's see. Yo, this is a real word, yo. We gotta lay out Mal. This is Oxford Dictionary. Defamate, verb, to defame, to libel or slander. Origin, early 19th century, earliest use found in the Morning Post. Alteration of defame after verbs, innate and defamation. I don't know, man. We may owe Mal an apology because I know they're going to crack on him tomorrow. They're going to roast him tomorrow on all these radio shows and everything when this come out. I don't know. We look at, you try to click on some Merriam-Webster dictionary. No, that's defame. They got defame in there. So no defamates is in Webster dictionary. It's only in the Oxford dictionary and the Urban dictionary. So type of 1 if Mal deserves a pass. Type of 2 if hell no, nigga, you making up some shit. Type of 1 if Mal gets a pass. He got 2 dictionaries, Oxford and the Urban Dictionary, bro. Does he get a pass with 1 or 2? The nigga, you making up some shit. Fiction said 2. 1 and 2. 1.2. 2-1 debatable. Oh man, I don't want to take it away from the seriousness because we always talk about Mal don't never speak up and he say short stuff. Mal has been in his bag. Shit, it started at the 25-minute mark. It gotta be like 30. So he been in his bag for about 10 minutes, man. So I'm gonna let him rock, Mal. If y'all tomorrow, y'all know all the response videos to this gonna come out tomorrow. Y'all need to go in the comment section and let people know that defamate is a possible. It's a possible book in spades. It's a possible that's a real word.
I've been too solid of a nigga for you to ever sit somewhere and try to defamate my character. We're not doing that. When you said that fuck shit you said to me conviction at Park's crib, talking about this is none of your business, I knew what it was then. And I told you that, Rory. I said, yo, Rory, it's over. And he was like, what you talking about? I said, fam, this nigga just told me this podcast is none of my business.
This is literally incorrect. If he gets 30% of the profits from it, is literally his business. This you can't argue this.
Look me in my eyes and said it's not.
I'm sorry, I should not say 30% as if that's a fact. That's my assumption. But still, he gets a percentage of this. Just want to make that clear.
None of my business. That for me said everything. You finally just said it, but you've been feeling like that, nigga. You've been moving like that. You just finally said
shit.
It.
We're naive and thinking friends.
Because I'm thinking you my man.
There was cues to it.
It's plenty of times we traveling, we touring. I'm like, yo, fam, how am I getting the same payout when we sell 1,500 seats and we sell 2,000 seats?
Lesser thing to learn right there. From all the stuff we said before, the lesser thing to learn is that Mal got to stop saying he didn't care about money. The second lesser thing is Mal got to stop saying that he trusted Joe. Look at all this stuff coming ahead from what other people are saying, all this stuff. Now the money not adding up even on shows, you not getting paid right. Just be honest. You shit was looking funny to make you not trust Joe. So seeing the books was important. Now both of those are small things to learn. The biggest thing on top of both of those, Joe, you looking foul as fuck, bruh. And it's important to me to say where stuff lay, because what I see on the internet now, especially YouTube, people argue. They'll be like, well, he was wrong. Well, he was wrong too. Well, that's the end of the conversation. They both were wrong. No, there are categories to being wrong. They are not even. If your man's paying you incorrectly and shit not adding up, that is way more important than him than Mal trying to tell us like, I just want to see the books. It wasn't about trust. Because that's not important to me. What of his reasoning is because it's in his contract. I don't give a damn why he wanted to see it. It's in his contract that he can see the books. He can see the accounting. So let the man see the accounting that you both agreed upon when you established this contract. I don't really care why. So we got to stop this shit on social media where we be like, well, both of them were wrong. There are different levels to being wrong. Some shit more important than others.
You think I'm stupid? How am I still getting the same money for that? That don't even add up. It don't even make sense. But what we did, that's the homie. We'll fix it. We'll figure it out. Let's just keep it moving. Let's just keep growing the show. Cool.
Just like my analogy when you train a dog. Same way. You always teaching somebody something. Even when you're not thinking you teaching somebody. He feels that, you know what, this ain't a big deal. We just going to let it rock. You have again taught Joe that even in the face of you seeing something incorrect on the numbers, it is okay for him to fuck you. Even when you think you're not teaching, so you're always teaching somebody how they should contact and how should they talk to you and how should they respect you as a man or woman. Always teaching somebody.
But enough is enough, fam. Like, I'm not the smartest nigga in the room, but I'm not the dumbest nigga either. Not the dumbest nigga. I'm humble.
Bernie Burns says, I'm from the UK. Defamation been a word used regularly. Bernie Burns, appreciate the comment, but everybody here understands that defamation is a word. Everybody here understands that defame is a word. The new word we haven't heard people use is defamate. We're only talking about the word defamate. We are intelligent enough. We use the word defamation all the time in the United States too, and we use defame all the time. We don't use defamate. So we're trying to see, was defamate a word?
I'm forgiving. I'm laid back. I'm relaxed. I'm chill. I'm all of those things. I'm not stupid. I could play like I'm stupid. I could act like I'm stupid. But sooner or later, I'm going to pull you by your coattail and say, yo, fam, let me holler at you real quick because I peep game already.
I love when New Yorkers do that. You know, everybody got their own shit like in the South. Hey, of what we say. I love when New Yorkers say this. Hey, yo, fam, come let me holler at you right quick. I know what that means. And I don't know if that's New York or is it just Upper East? Is it like New York, Philly, Jersey, the whole area, all y'all little states up there? I just love when New Yorkers say that shit. When they say it in movies anywhere. Like, hey, yo, fam, let me holler at you right quick. I know exactly. I may be from Atlanta, Georgia, but I know exactly what that shit means.
And I just want you to know that we're not doing that. And for me, that's all it was. And when he told you to miss a few episodes, when you sent me that text, I'm like, okay, this nigga trying to play the boss card.
Well, no, he also said that he told me to take
exactly
Tuesday and Friday.
SVG.
Again, we not.
I don't want to get into
the text. It's lies. It's just lies, fam. And if we like, fuck it, it's over.
Until we.
That's Chicago. Nah, bro. Bro, like, come on, TJ Blogs. That is not Chicago, bro. That is. If some people in Chicago incorporated, maybe so. People in Atlanta may say it, but that is New York, bro. That is New York.
He had to talk,
right,
and then said, yo, let's get in our respective corners for the next month, and then came back and said, yo, we abandoned the pod even though it was some shit that you agreed upon.
But listen,
actually, it was your idea.
Right, but all of that, let's go to our corners. Cool, we agreed to it. But we can't go to our corners and then you pop up on the show that I helped build and Rory helped build with two new niggas, and no disrespect to them. No disrespect. I don't even want them to feel like it's negative energy towards them. It's none of that. No disrespect
I fuck
to
with
them.
Ice and Ish.
I'm just saying.
They good people.
You tried to make it look away. What you tried to do was you tried to move us out, prove that you can keep the show going without us, because all you really want to do is put two niggas on there that's going to take a salary, because that was your thing with us when we started talking about accounting. Yo, when this deal is over, I'm putting y'all on a salary. What's the first thing we said? It's not happening.
Why would Joe want to put them on a salary unless Joe wants more money? Can somebody tell me another reason he would want them on a salary? If I own a business and I want to take somebody down to a salary, I'm not liking the percentages that they're giving, especially with other clues that's about to be said right here.
It's not happening. You're putting who on a salary? Mm-hmm. Salary?
No, I remember the conversation.
That's not happening.
And this was before the Spotify, or in between the Spotify deal.
This is what I'm saying. Salary, who, me? After we done put all these years in and all this sweat equity trying to build this shit, you salary me?
And on top of that, let me backtrack even more. When we talking about percentages, 3 of us was in the parking lot of Totowa. Yo, we should do this percentage, cool. And then we started talking about numbers on like some fun shit, chilling. Like, yo, we could probably get this amount from this. Yo, I wouldn't give y'all that percentage off that deal though. And we was like, Joe, that's not how percentages work. Right. I wouldn't give you that much money.
Right.
It's almost as if they paint Joe as a child. Like you really don't understand the simple shit, Joe. Like, yay, 30% or whatever the percentage is, and be like, yo, this is $100 million contract. Do you know how much money I'll get with 30% on $100 million? Whoa. I wasn't trying to give y'all that amount of money. It's like, they know that Joe was moving funny in the books. They're just trying to keep it PC for this right here. They shouting and just giving us clues of their psyche when they're going. And this stuff is happening around the same time as they continue to ask for the books. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why they feel like they got to make a reason or be PC. You can ask whatever the fuck you want to because you're supposed to see it 4 times a year anyway. You're supposed to see it quarterly. We don't need no reason. You can say no reason at all, or you can say he moving funny. Like you're contracted to see those things, and it makes the friendship looks weird when he doesn't want you to see those, and it's a problem every time you ask.
And you naive. I'm thinking we just joking around type of shit, but.
No, you gotta
be accountable in your shit.
You thinking your friend would never do
being naive.
Like that.
I remember that conversation vividly when we brought up those percentages and then brought up a lump sum of what that would be, and he said, "Oh, I wouldn't give y'all that percentage off that lump sum." Like,
yeah,
no, that's how a percentage works, Joe.
See, but see, you know what it is, man, and it's
and save y'all the suspense. After this, the live I just saw with Joe Budden, responding. Joe Budden said it would have been over in a year anyway because they already said they said. They weren't going to sign a new contract. And you see how he worded that to sound like they're bad? He said they wasn't going to sign they did not say they wasn't going to sign a new contract. They said they're not going to sign a new contract on salary. So when I hear Joe say they said they weren't going to sign a new contract, what I really hear is Joe saying, they said they're not going to go salary. I'm going salary. When this shit over with, I'm going salary forever. That way I don't have to worry about this shit. I know the lump sum on them that's going to be allotted to whoever going to be working with me. And then from there, I get all the millions. And sometimes it's what you don't say.
To me, and this is just my perspective, I feel like Joe feels like a lot of the success of this podcast is based off of his music career. Right? I feel like he thinks it's a trickle-down effect from his music career to the podcast. And my thing is,
Fiction said all they do is show up and talk. That's why. They've already said how they pay for stuff. So they already say what they fund. Even the accounting they fund. We don't know what else they do. And that's something that I fell for in my last thing. I said all they do is show up. But that was wrong of me to say that because I don't know what they do behind the scenes. We only know the narrative that has been painted to us.
It's not. I've been in some of these cities when you were a rapper, Joe. I've been in some of these cities. It wasn't, this many people weren't showing up for you. And see, and again, through all of this, I've had time to replay some shit in my head, and you know how certain shit has started to like come together. And he said something at the Highline Ballroom show we did when we were in the dressing room. He had went outside, he had recorded the people wrapped around the corner, and he came back and he said, "Yo, I got these niggas wrapped around the block. I got the line around the corner." And I looked at him and I said, "Joe, you don't have the line around the corner. We have the line around the corner. Because you've done shows here before and you've never had the line around the corner. You've done shows in Philly and you've never had the line around the corner.
I have an opinion. I'm just trying to let them get this shit out.
You've done shows in Boston and you've never had the line around the corner. And that's fine. But it's like the ego, the greed.
I get it.
It just becomes too much, and it's like
and to his right too on personality. Yes, he has grown a large part of his personality outside of rapping with a huge fan base.
Cool. Which is why you get the percentage you get.
Which is why he gets.
Which is why you get the percentage you get. Well, I'm not, nigga. I'm a regular nigga from uptown, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't come here with no fan base. Like, I get it.
This whole
I'm gonna take my low percentage and chill. But you're not gonna jerk me on my percentage that I took.
I disagree with him saying that Joe wasn't the one making it popular, but it's so brilliant. It's so brilliant how Mal just brought it right back on subject. Because I was thinking this is a red herring anyway. None of this shit even matters. It's just something else that's being pulled off subject. You know, this is something that matters when you negotiate your percentage. Once the percentage is set, you give a fuck what you think. You think you did all this by yourself. I don't care. My paperwork say this. So it's beautiful how Mal wrapped this back on subject. But I disagree with Mal. Mal saying that the people aren't lined up for Joe. I take back a lot of what I said on my last video, and I'm going to be brutally honest. I take back, y'all can see from what I'm saying here, because I was taking up for Joe a lot on my last one before I saw this. The one thing I'm not going to change, so you can plug that out my last video, you can put it in right here. Joe was going to be his popularity where he at podcasting with any two dudes. It didn't have to be Mal. It didn't have to be Rory. It was going to, it is, Joe has found the way to use the negative things about him as a positive. His paranoia, his narcissism, his being overtly emotional and erratical at times. All of these bad traits, because we like to watch hit shows and because of the energy it generates and the views, Joe was going to be where he is without Mal and Rory. And I don't want to debate that because I think it's subjective. You can come and you can say this instance where Rory did this or Mal. Cool. Everybody right because it's an opinion. I just have never went to watch the episode of their show based upon something that Rory or Mal has said. And just to be clear, this is just a segue we're going down as a talking point, but it has nothing to do with the facts. On the facts, they're 100% right. You chose a percentage. You got yours because you're popular. I got a lesser percentage because I'm not. And it is what it is. It's in the contract. But I think that Mal think as far as the entertainment value goes, that he thinks he's more important than he really is. Even with saying that humbling statement right there, because he's about to come and say something else right after this coming up to show, his value on here. But and I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but I went in my last video and I went down detail of every incident that blew Joe Budden up to make people watch. And no, it was not his rap. From the Yachty situation, from the BET award situation, from when nobody was listening to their podcast and he's ranting and raving about Drake album. I think that was one of the biggest first ones. Every single incident that made Joe Budden more popular, the decision to go to Everyday Struggle, the decision to leave Everyday Struggle at the height of their viewership, when people are going to go, hey, Joe made the show popular. What does he do? Oh, he got a podcast? I'm following Joe. None of that had to do with Rory and Mal. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to comment nobody personally, because I think 90% of the time I'm taking up for them in this video and what they're saying and with contracts. But in this dynamic, people gonna watch Joe, and it was wrong of Joe to tell them to sit back, then go run and try to get two people to prove that he can do it without him. Instead of, if they real mans and real friends, they try to work and fix the issue that they have. That's completely wrong. But that's one subject. The other subject is, in that dirty deed that Joe did, in the foul thing that he did, he proved that he can do it without Rory and Mal. Two things can exist at the same time.
And this whole crazy...
I said Joe Biden, my bad. I want to be one of the people who never mixed Joe Biden with Joe Budden, because everybody do it. I guess I fell victim today. So Joe Budden, man, my bad.
Value conversation that everyone's been debating about us and this and that, and they don't do shit here, they do a bunch of shit over here, this and that. Mal and I have never said we're these crazy personalities ever.
Never said it, bro.
I've never bragged about what I do.
I'll gladly admit that. I didn't have an audience. I was known in a couple circles.
Fam, I like talking with my friends.
That's it.
There's value amongst the three of us. Now, do I think Joe has crazy value by himself? Do I think you have crazy value by yourself? Do I think I have crazy value by myself?
Here's the problem with Mal, because I said Mal in my last video don't offer nothing because he quiet. People like Mal when he speak up. He just need to speak up. I couldn't imagine Mal and Rory doing a podcast because it's gonna be mainly Rory talking and Mal barely saying a word. But like, even when you disagree with Mal, he says polarizing things. The problem is the word when he speaks up, because he's defending himself on this video. We're hearing Mal talk a lot. But when it's three guys and there's other two people he can lean on to talk, he takes the laid back approach. If Mal speaks up in this setup, this vibe, this camera, I think Mal and Rory can have a great podcast together. But Mal gonna have to show up mentally for work every day and put on for the people.
Yes. Whatever you think that value is from a number standpoint, whatever. But the three of us together with some different type of value.
And let's recognize that. Let's just recognize that.
I never walked in that pod and say, "Yo, I make this shit."
Yeah, but that demeanor was never presented from this side
ever.
Like I'm not,
That's facts. Give them their props. Everybody and their mama been talking about this mainly because of the narrative that DJ Academics is presented to the public. But they never went out here bragging and saying that we all that or saying how valuable they were in public. I don't know what was said behind closed doors when they argue, but I've never heard them do that.
See the people online, they saying, "Oh, y'all, Joe made y'all." Cool, if that's what you want to. But there's a reason he called me and asked me to join the pod, fam. And no disrespect to you, Rory, but when I came on, I feel like I made this shit more palatable.
I agree.
I feel like I made this shit more cool. I feel like I gave this shit a different energy. Like, no disrespect to nobody. You my guy. I fuck with you.
I do remember specifically saying when he came onto the show at the beginning, I was watching way back. I remember saying like, "Yo, this nigga here's not compromising. He gonna say whatever he feel." I like that. Keep him on. So I do remember. I gotta give him. I give him that. I literally said that in my mind when he came on because he was just bold in his statements. I think a lot of people hate him for some of the bold statements. I know for him to come out and he said like, DJ Academics corny and all this stuff right here. Look what act is going on in the tirade. That I think is overkill, especially for Mal. He has a different reason he can overkill Rory, but for Mal, I think what DJ Academics does is overkill. Also, too, he sat back with total confidence and said the Breakfast Club is done, it's over, nobody fucking with that no more. And which is contrary. It's funny because he's about to say that Charlamagne gave him props when he came up to the Joe Budden podcast. But I just think you got to live and die by it. People like polarizing people. You're going to say shit, you're going to piss people off, but at the same time, people are watching. So, yeah, he's right on this part. There's a reason he was chosen.
But I'm just saying, I feel like.
But back then, he spoke more. And I know Mal can watch his video and say, well, I don't speak more now because you see how the contract was. I was speaking back then before, but even back then, you ain't never in your life to this day seen accounting. To this day, you saw a little spreadsheet, Excel. You still haven't seen accounting, so.
Like, he knows that, though. So then say that, nigga. Don't let Charlamagne come on the show and have to say it. Why you don't say it?
I remember when you had come on in the second episode, Joe and I were still in the talks of the girl thing, still at that point, because we want to. Yo, Mal, let's just be the guys podcast. Mal killing this shit.
And but my only problem.
And I also don't take any. People are just weirdos in that type of. I don't take offense to that.
No.
I know what you did when you came on.
I'm not.
Whatever it is, it's done. This show, if you had any hopes of this show lasting, at the very maximum, it will last 1 year because that's when the contract is up. And Joe is going through hell caused by him, but when you're a narcissist, you don't want to look eternally in. Or even if you try, you go to therapy. Even when you try, it's still harder because you lack that emotional depth to look within yourself. So all you're going to see is a lot of turmoil that came from this kind of a deal. And he's not going to want to deal with that turmoil again. So if he was 99.9% looking for two people to just sit there and go salary, he 110% looking for two men to go salary now. I think that they messed up Joe Deal, though, on this podcast. But when they talk about Ish and Ice, when they go back, they're going to talk about the percentage versus the standard again, but they're going to go back into some details with Ish and Ice. And I think if I'm Ish and Ice and I'm looking at Rory and Mal talk, I'm going to be Especially knowing like what are you gonna do? Scramble to get 2 more people, and 2 more people he run out of fucking friends or whatever. I use this to my advantage to try to get more out of the deal if he tries to go with Ish and Ice.
Taking offense to it. I'm just saying that he don't speak up about that shit. He don't be like, nah, you bugging. Like, nah, my man, they got value. They bring shit to this. Like he let these narratives run and he play into them like,
of course
it's like, fam, like I see all of that, but he know that I don't give a fuck about that. Like he know that I'm just the type of dude like, nigga, I don't care about that, man. Like, nigga, we having fun, we busting it up, we making some money. We looked up one day, we had an audience. Cool. Yeah. But my thing is like, we gotta put your ego and put your ego to the side, homie. Put your ego to the side. Like it's not that it's not that serious. Like what you doing right now, what you did to your niggas, the way he up there talking about me, the way he up there talking about, that's corny. Like that's corny shit to me, fam. Like you saying
things that really offend me. Him saying Rory's measly ass, and that I was trying to manipulate shit. Let's be transparent and tell the truth, Mo. Because I'm the only one that was talking to him and was talking to you.
Right.
I was trying to save this fucking podcast like you would not fucking believe. With 2 people that were done with it.
They got the F word too hard.
Joe was done with the shit. You were done with the shit. And I'm the only one sitting here trying to keep this shit going. So when Joe brings up these words like measly, yo, you lost your leverage. Leverage on what? What is this narrative?
But that's telling you what Joe is thinking. They're telling you what kind of mindset he got. Leverage. There's no leverage. You don't need leverage if it's in your contract. You either do this. If you're unwilling to do this, then you sue Joe. But you don't need, the leverage is there. The leverage doesn't go away until the contract expires. The leverage remains the same, but Joe Budden talking about some other stuff. I think Joe on that renegotiation, and Joe put Ish and Ice on there to show them that you lost leverage because I can show I don't need you on the renegotiation, which is a red herring because that has nothing to do with the actual conversation of you are legally obligated to show us the accounting quarterly.
You talk about leverage. I didn't go into any type of thing to have leverage.
Again,
I'm trying to save our fucking podcast, and these are the terms that need to happen, which is terms we agreed upon 2 years ago.
Rory can't drop the N-bomb, so when he cussed, he got to go hard. In that case, that fuck was warranted. He can't help it. That's the only way. He has one level of how to say the word fuck. He don't have no soft. It's just the same every time.
I'm not looking for leverage.
Right.
If I was looking for leverage, that would come in renegotiation. Right. I'm not as fucking stupid as you think.
Right.
Stop with these narratives to dumb people that just think you smart. I wasn't looking for leverage on anything. I was trying to save this podcast, and I talked with my mans, and I talked with you, and I put together a list of what would happen on top of the things I needed as well. You said you was going to meet them, said, oh wait, that's all y'all need? Right. And then didn't meet them.
Right.
And then you was wondering why this didn't happen. Right.
Now, of all the stuff, if Joe ever come back to me, everybody got their own opinion. This is the most important part of this whole video right here. This is what I would want Joe to answer in detail. They said after y'all came together, after they did the y'all reunion show a couple weeks ago, after y'all came, you said that there was a line of issues they had, and you said, that's it, no problem. Yeah, I'll take care of that. So what's the issue? We don't need to go all the way back in the past and do all of this stuff, right? Because it don't matter if that's in the contract and they got a percentage and they can see it quarterly and these are a list of things that they wanted and you said that's easy, I'll take care of it. Why did you go off on them last week? That's the biggest thing I like to know.
Right.
So I'm the one manipulating shit. You came to me and said I could easily make this shit happen. Came back, nothing happened.
Right. And another thing that I've seen people say, oh, you riding with Rory. I'm riding with what's right.
Did anyone ever think you was doing what was best for you and I was doing what was best for me? And we wasn't even riding for each other?
Right. But see, again, that's why this is important. Because like I said, I didn't even want to do this. You didn't want to do this. But we came to something we was like, it's absolutely necessary because these narratives have to stop. We got to put it into this because this is not what happened. This is not the truth. And again, I give you a whole bunch of credit because when he told you to stay home, the first thing I told you was, I said, Rory, I'm not recording without you.
I remember.
I'm not doing that. I said, because to me, that's nasty. It's basically saying like,
you know, why is this giving me Falcon and the Winter Soldier vibes? I shouldn't be saying this. Like Captain America gone, the post would be the podcast or whatever. And so this is the aftermath. It's Falcon and Winter Soldier trying to work together, you know what I'm saying?
You know, we go to the club, the bouncer say your man can't get in, he ain't got the right shoes on. And then we continue to go in the club. That's corny.
Is it safe to say everything Joe touch ends up blowing up? Joe would be the great person to start stuff with. He is awesome at starting stuff. And then he needs to move out of his own way. He needs to move out of his own way. And Joe needs people that he respects. Joe needs someone to tell, all right, you literally just found out that Mal isn't coming in today. You're pissed the fuck off. You running around. If you go and drop a podcast now, you go live and do a podcast right now, there's a strong possibility you may say something you regret. Don't fucking do it. He need people to tell him to do stuff like that. But like, man, we grown men out here, man. Like we gotta make all these different kind of points. Like we babying somebody. Maybe just some people you shouldn't do business with. And your track record does work. You know, when you go to the NBA, young Kobe, and when Kobe and Tim Duncan got the big Sprite deal and all that stuff, they looking at not only are they looking at your ability to be marketable, but they're looking at your past. They're looking at the percentage of why you may get in trouble. Kobe was on top of the world when the rape charge came with that girl. Look at all the advertisement he lost. Your track record, you know what I'm saying, does matter. And Joe got a horrible track record. Let me tell you whose side. I used to always be on Joe Budden's side whenever Hot 97 talk about him. Because you could just see the pain and anger and all of them up there. The girl he fired, Rosenberg, he had a bunch of stuff with, you know what I'm saying? You can just know that, like, come on, man. Don't use y'all platform to try to destroy Joe Budden, bro. But, like, now I look now, and I still see the same hurt in Rosenberg. I still see the same hurt in the girl. All of them. I see the same image. The only difference is I'm like, I know why you'd be that pissed. I know. Because even before Mal and Rory, like everybody jumping on Mal and Rory's side after they did this, but even before this came out, go look at Hot 97 video they put out the other day, right when Joe went off on them. They still buried Joe and blamed it on Joe because they know Joe. They've been with Joe since the beginning. Rosenberg was one of the people that started the podcast with Joe. So I just look at shit differently now, man.
I'm never doing that. Fuck it. We all leaving. So when he said he told you to stay home, nah, we not doing that. Go to the studio, Joe, let me holler at you. And we have the talk we have. And then that turns into something else. It's like, Joe, why is it always a problem when people are having a conversation about this show and you're not around? Like, do you feel like niggas is trying to conspire some shit behind your back? Because that's not what it is, bro.
It's paranoia. My bad, I mean, dude, that's paranoia.
Niggas are having creative talks on how to make this shit better, how to grow this shit, productive conversations. I said, but you being real defensive when you're not around and people are talking about the show, it's saying something.
Same way 6 years ago when Elliot and I just went to lunch.
Especially when you have a whole bunch of conversations about this podcast and we not around, and then we continue to be like, okay, let's roll with it.
I need to see the contract on that. I don't have a problem with Joe Budden not discussing shit with them. You know what I'm saying? Because based upon what we know now, all I know is they get a percentage off of it. So if Joe go do a deal great, they get whatever the percentage says off of it. I don't know what's in the contract about, like, if they have any kind of pull on the decisions that Joe make in that aspect. I know, like, as a human being with your own brain, you may see like, yo, if you do that, but over here it's a better deal. If I feel like that, I can offer my say-so, and if Joe decides to go that way and it works out, we get more money, then I get more money on my percentage. But I don't know. I need more information on that comment there to see what that contract says.
Let's roll with it. All right, cool. And again, we might have to take some onus in that because we probably let that go on. We probably let that go on for too long. So
probably.
Cool. We'll take some onus on that. But then we had that talk, and I'm just seeing him. I'm just like, he thinks that he's really this new guy. Because I'm hearing it, and then the way he's talking to me, and I'm just like, I think y'all got things twisted. No, we don't got nothing twisted. I think that money started to come in. You started to see.
Everything Joe does is a success. Why nobody ever mentions that? I would have read that without all the caps. I try to see y'all comments. Literally just mentioned that. But it also comes down and screwed up at the end. You have to look at everything, right? That's what you're saying? So what did I just say, Tay Watts? I just said Joe would be the perfect person to start stuff with. Why would I say to start stuff with? I said that because he's successful at all of them. But because it goes shitty, I didn't say to do business with or keep in business. I said just to start it. Because it's only great at the beginning. It always fucking sucks at the end for the person that's with Joe Budden.
More money than you ever seen in your life. You started to have conversations with niggas you wanted to have conversations with as a rapper that would never talk to you. So I think that you starting to feel like this new person and you got this new leash on life, which is fine. I'm not even mad at that, but don't bring that energy
love that for my people.
Keep that energy with some groupie bitches. Keep that energy with some fans. Don't bring that energy to your niggas, though. You can have an ego with women and fans and all of that. Don't have no ego with your niggas that built something with you, that was in the trenches with you like I was. A nigga that done been locked up with you like I was.
And if you remember the conversation the three of us had that what we thought was productive, he said, yes, I like my ego. My ego is important in certain places. I should channel it better, but I should never channel it the way I channeled it with my friends. This is his words, not mine.
But then what happened now? Like that went out the window? Because we had a 5-hour conversation at his house. We thought we made some progress. And be clear, I got to give my guy Rory props on this too. I was done with the pod after that conversation we had.
This kept bothering me the other day, you know what I'm saying? Especially with having my own podcast. Am I tripping? Maybe y'all can help me out. Do people say pod? The pod? Because I only see them saying it and Joe Budden say it. Just everybody involved with Joe Budden podcast. Like I don't see Nori. Like I don't see people like it's a podcast. Like is that the new? Am I old? And I'm just not hip to the new. I didn't know podcast had a cool lingo. The pod. Yeah, we was gonna go do the pod. You know the pod. I'm like, yeah, it's just weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch. Does everybody call it the pod?
I was done.
That's why that measly word and that
like you ain't gonna.
I say podcast. You know.
Never look me in my eyes.
Bothered me so fucking much. I'm like, fam, I was the one trying to keep this shit together.
I'm gonna give you that credit because I told you. I said, Rory, I would never sit down with him again. I said because I can't fake it. That energy, that chemistry, that laugh and shit, the fun, it's not there.
The pod is very rare.
No more. When you look me in my eyes and tell me after all these years, all this grinding, all this building and pushing that we did, you tell me that this shit is none of my business. I could never unhear that, fam. I can never unhear you say that to me.
And granted, maybe there's a bunch of adjectives for me trying to force this podcast to keep going. It's not measly. It's not liar. It's not manipulator.
No. And I'll have your back on that. It was never that with you.
Did I force something? Maybe.
Again, you got to go back to just not just them, but words Joe Budden said too. Even before this, Joe Budden was this some pimp shit too. And the guys, I forget who's up there with Joe, Parks and who else? Not Ish and Ice. I'm talking about behind the camera. I forgot the other Savon. Parks and Savon, right? They over there bragging and laughing that they don't have a contract. That's some pimp shit. Joe like, I'm cool with my guys and we don't even have contracts. We don't even have you. Yeah, that finger shit. Like, I'm sitting back there like, yo, you happy, Parks? You ain't got a contract, bro. All right. You happy you don't have a contract with a guy that has a track record? You happy? Look what happened to these guys who do got a contract, who even ask about it. All right. And then you ran to these guys, Parks and Savon, who don't have a contract. You ran to these two guys that y'all helped shit on last week. You ran to them to tell them that you're overworked and underpaid. You have to run to them to do your dirty work because you can't run to Joe. You don't have a contract. He can say you. And he can say, fuck you. But you ran to the guys with the contracts. And then the guys with the contracts was going to take money out of their own pocket to pay you. And you went with Joe Budden last week to fuck them over nationally and got the world laughing at these two guys. And Mal and Rory, these y'all friends, these your mans. Man, you better get some of your respect, bro.
Did I try too hard to make sure the shit?
No.
Because I really thought we could get back to it. Maybe.
No. You know what you did? You did what you were supposed to do as a friend. Like, yo, fam, let's just make this shit right. Let's just make this shit.
I'm saying, Joey Donuts, Parks just watched Joe screw over 2 close friends and don't mind not having a contract.
Shit right. Like, fuck it, man. We built something dope. This is just a bump in the road. Let's patch this shit up. Let's keep it moving. Yeah. But I'm gonna be honest. Like I told you, I said, fam, I'm done. I had a 3-hour FaceTime with Royce, and we talked about everything.
And I text Royce afterwards after you called me, and I thanked Royce.
He talked to me about a whole bunch of slaughterhouse shit. You. He talked to me about a whole bunch of,
Here come another friend Joe screwed.
And it was like, but I'm telling Royce, I'm like, fam, just in the way, again, he had to pull up with Crook. Never put it out. Never put it out. But
it's a great pull up.
He said something in that pull up that when I saw it, it stuck with me. And when the shit fell apart with us, that shit played in my head. And him and Crook were talking about, Crook said something to the extent of, but bro, we have a contract with them. We gotta honor our contract. We signed this, we agreed to this, we gotta honor that. And Joe's response was, I don't give a fuck about no contract. I don't honor no contracts.
If somebody show you this video, Mal, I'm looking at you. And you say you still won't take your mans to court because he's your mans?
And Crook just laughed like, all right, well, if that's how you feel, what are we even talking about? Like, it's no talking to you. Mm-hmm. And when he said that, I'm like, you don't honor no contracts. Well, and here we are today.
Well, also, let's get into some of that conversation that we had where Joe was saying, because I want to make this as fair as possible, and I don't like to speak for people unless I speak for them.
This is
correctly.
All the truth.
No, I know.
That's why I could sit here comfortably. What color is this? Is this like what's this? Pistachio? Let's call it pistachio. I'm sitting here in my teal. I'm in my teal pistachio. My karma is beautiful. My aura is. I'm great, man.
Joe said he didn't even honor our contract and overpaid us because he said he looked at our contract and saw what that money would have been off our percentage base and said, "Ugh, I don't like it." I want this to be the last time we talk about this, so I'm even gonna put in his good points that he said.
Right.
Which, again, I'm not sitting here saying I didn't believe my.
Joe said on the pod, y'all killing the word the pod now. I see y'all. Joe said on the pod he don't have to respect his friend. So add the shit up together. A lot of times when people do an argument, they compartmentalize and they just leave shit as one thing. But you got to put it in a cake bowl mix to mix it up. Joe Budden said, I don't honor contracts. Throw that shit in the cake bowl. Joe Budden also said, I don't have to respect my friends. To his friends live on a fucking podcast. Joe Budden went and clowned his friends on their personal life. Throw that shit in a fucking bowl. We podding now. Pod save America. Just throw all this shit in the bowl, bro. Like, Joe Budden said, if you want to see the accounting, audit me, which is just another word for sue me, motherfucker. Take that shit and throw it in a bowl. Watch Joe's response to this. I heard Joe try to give 2 responses already, and they ran his ass off his own Instagram. I'm going to play one of them for you guys.
My man's when he said that.
Right. Right.
I did.
Okay, cool, yeah.
And I said,
thank you.
I said, yo.
Parks is an irreplaceable engineer. Because the pod at his crib, no pod, no show, loses the authenticity. Like when I do, a lot of us, we watch stuff on YouTube, right? And YouTube is going to make your quality worse. For instance, the screen I'm looking at now, I look way better than what y'all see me on YouTube. YouTube has downgraded the quality because YouTube cares about getting the shit out. So they're going to downgrade audio quality. So the best audio quality is to listen to Joe Budden, whether he's on Spotify or whatever. Take their file and listen to that quality. I know people that can get you the same quality as the Joe Budden podcast with lesser equipment. You know what I'm saying? For a podcast that you listening to in your car, while you cleaning, wherever you pod at, wherever you be podding at. What I'm saying is, and to make a long story short, it's overkill. You don't need to have it that great. You don't need to have it to how say Parks has it. Parks is not irreplaceable. Joe Budden is fucking famous. Joe Budden can pick up his phone right now in the midst of all this negativity and say, I need a new sound engineer that'll do my be on my just make it sound better too. Be on the Joe Budden podcast squad on my team. I'm looking for guys right now, and he can give them half of the money he's paying Parks, and I guarantee you his phone blow up in his area that they can go to the place, shoot it, and then put out a good quality podcast. No one on earth is irreplaceable at anything. Parks is replaceable.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That's fire. That's some real solid, real man shit to do.
Right.
But when we go back to the points of when we get in our respected corners, let's figure out what makes this work for our friendship and the business side. Mm-hmm. Accounting got brought back into play from when it stopped with the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And everyone made it clear, I don't care how far you dance around it, just throwing numbers in an Excel spreadsheet is not accounting.
Not accounting.
So yes, did I get accounting that said I was overpaid? Did I get accounting that said Joe is the greatest guy on earth? Of course. Mm-hmm. I did. And even then, did not say he was wrong. I said, just give me the regular accounting. Like, you taking a whole month and getting mad at me and resenting me because you've been overpaying me but didn't tell anyone, and you now have the accountants working on this instead of something else, and they're offended.
You don't know if he's overpaying you or not. You've never seen the accounting.
And this and that.
Well, let me be clear. I don't think we were overpaid.
I'm still on the side of
you don't sit on
I don't
that,
know anything.
You don't know.
That's been my issue the whole time.
I'm just going with the optic. You don't sit on the set and talk about me and talk about you the way he did, and then underneath all of that, you're overpaying somebody. It don't add up.
Let's say I'm overpaid.
It don't add up.
Let's say I'm overpaid.
That energy don't even match.
Let's
you don't overpay people that you feel like that about and that you end up talking about like that publicly. You don't do that.
Let's dead the narrative right now of this was about money, that we said it was not about money, and then Joe came on to that podcast and said this is about money. Rory's asking about money. Let's dead that now. Spotify deal is about to end. Even before we even went into negotiations, Joe had said to me on some friend shit, we was at lunch, he said, I already don't think this is going to be a good situation for us. I said, bet. I've been saving my money. Fuck Spotify. If they come back with a crazy amount of number, but it don't make sense for us, fuck it. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I've been saving my money. I don't splurge like that. I'm chilling. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I think it was 6 or 7 months before our deal even ended. So I was like, let's just get back. Nobody go crazy with their bread. And if we got to go independent, we got to go independent. That's great. Whatever. That's probably a cool scenario. You don't have to worry about me at all. Mm-hmm. Don't ever make a decision. And I said this to him 1,000 times during that Spotify deal. That's why this also offends me off his shit. I said, don't ever think you have to worry about me with money. Mm-hmm. Don't ever make a decision about me that has to do with making sure I'm paid.
Right.
I love you.
This nigga tripping. They be doing too much to seem like nice, bro. Like, you ever notice it be the selfish people that have great spots in life? And it's fucked up. That's just how the world works, man. You got to be a little bit more selfish. Why are you out here saying don't do nothing that'll benefit me when it comes to yes, motherfucker? If you speak for my best interest in heart too. What are you talking about? What are you trying to get brownie points from the fans watching or something? This shit makes no sense in business.
You for that, but don't ever do it. Mm-hmm. Cash App deal comes around. Pardon, his Cash App deal for his pull-ups, according to him. Mm-hmm. We leave Spotify. He starts bringing in Cash App to our podcast. Amazing. Love that. Cool. I get an email from the accounting company, CC'd with Ian, on what a payment is going to be per month. This is the Cash App deal. Yep. Naturally.
If the Cash App deal is for Joe Budden pull-up, that's when Joe interviews a celebrity he's with. Like, why is he giving them money for it? That's what I'm saying. Like, I love to see the contract. Like, what does the pull-up has nothing to do with them. So if it's just Joe Budden on himself and he pulling up with celebrities, why is he paying them? Unless it's something in the paperwork for the Cash App deal that involves the Joe Budden podcast. He probably don't want to pay him, but if it involves the Joe Budden podcast, in case somebody goes or ever looks at the books, he gonna have to show the books. This is just me guessing and thinking out loud. I don't want to think I'm smarter than I am. The real answer is we don't know because we can't see the contract. So the real answer is I don't know. These words I'm saying, I'm just speculating. Like, why? What pull up is different than Joe Budden podcast? If Joe Budden said the Cash App deal is for pull up, why is he sending his manager to tell them what their cut is?
As I always do, and as I told Joe, since the day we started doing business together, I don't care if it's $10 or $10 billion. I'm going to ask.
Joey Donut says something. Why is Cash App watermark on all podcast deals? So I think the Cash App deal has something to do with the podcast, which is why they need to see shit. I don't know why people would be mad at them. Like the guy who he got a Cash App deal for the podcast also. Okay, so great. So they need to see this. What's wrong with them seeing this?
So
why is Joe Budden saying that it's for pull up and all the other stuff? That shit don't matter. There's a sponsor for the podcast. These are your podcast partners with a guaranteed percentage of it, and in the contract that they get to see the books. I got so many wrong words in my head. I went from audit to I'm having a brain freeze right now. Accounting. Wrong. I had about 10 different A words in my head, all wrong. Accounting.
What is it? Mm-hmm. Cash App deal was great. It was around the exact same money, if not a couple $100 more than what we were doing with Spotify per month. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Love you for getting that, my dude. Mm-hmm. Just ask. So what is this?
Right. And let's be clear on the $400K mistake. They said that the accountants confirmed it was a mistake. So it's not them reading a possible made up Excel sheet wrong. They said that the accounting company confirmed it was a mistake. That's huge to me. That means a lot more to me than them catching a $400K mistake.
Right. Simple question. Mm-hmm. Left it alone. Didn't even really get an answer. Didn't particularly care. Right. Everything's cool. We in a
appreciate that, life of Bodge.
Pandemic. We don't have a deal. You out there getting us money? My God, fuck with you. Don't care. Whatever. This is about the show. Love you.
Respect.
Patreon deal comes around. I don't know a single fucking thing about it. I find out on the air with the rest of y'all. I saw all y'all.
That's corny. And again, I don't know what y'all, I don't know how y'all do it, but when I hear stuff, I compare it to life. So when I think of these guys, I think of my podcast partner that I have, and I just can't imagine us, like when I got the You Now deal because they came to John Crimes. My John Crimes channel was already big. We hadn't even dropped the first podcast episode. So that's my deal that they wanted me, John Crimes, on. But I'm trying to think business-wise. John Crime do good. I'm making money on John Crime. Why don't I take this opportunity and put this over as a sponsorship for the podcast? Once I moved it over and talked to the people on You Now and moved it over to my podcast, it literally became owned by not just me, but me and my partner. And she saw all the emails, all the paperwork, everything, the contract and everything that we signed. She saw all of that up front because that's my partner. It's just about the respect you have for people. I didn't go to my partner and say, hey, look, they didn't want you. They wanted me. So since they wanted me, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to get this back. No. Once I went it to my partner and it was no longer John Crimes, it was just for the podcast, our deal, the percentage as we got it split stays the same. So instead of me getting 100% of a deal that came to me, I only got a percentage of it because I moved it to the pod. I moved it to the pod, so it's the pod. So she gonna eat off of that. It don't matter how it came in. She gonna eat the same way as if she found it. So I don't know, man. Like I would never disrespect her in the way that we are going live and talking to people, and then she finds out we got a deal. That's corny, bro.
y'all jokes.
We don't know anything about it.
They were correct.
Right. Yeah, no. Had
Let's
no
be
idea.
transparent. Got on there. All right, you're the head of creator equity. Cool. But prior to that, we were talking about starting a Patreon page with our shit.
Right.
Which, by the way, is not, you don't have to have a deal with Patreon to start a Patreon page. Right. So when we have conversations prior to this, I'm not thinking, okay, this is a Joe deal. And I also asked, I even asked his manager, is this a Joe Budden Network deal? Like, is this going to have See the
all
Thing
the other
Is?
Shows, right.
Like, just because, and not even on some crazy shit, just on, well, let me just try to figure out what this is so I can know how to move with it. I'm not here to disrupt things. I'm just asking what the fuck is going on.
Right.
He gets on there. We congratulate him for his position. Still love you, Joe, for getting that position.
Y'all keep teaching this man how to treat you. A man, you found out about a deal for yourself on your percentage on air, along with everybody else. You know what it takes to be inside a Joe Budden brain for him to sit around y'all smoking a cigarette, y'all laughing, joking, getting your drinks ready to go on air. And the whole time y'all there, y'all done shook parts, hand parts, got to set up the sound. All of this is happening in that room. And he knows he has a deal, and he ain't going to even give y'all the respect to tell y'all or mention it or give you no paperwork and no details or nothing about it. You going to find out on air just like the rest of the fans. This is your fault. This is what you have consistently shown Joe Budden it is okay with on how to treat you as a business partner and as a grown-ass man and as a friend. This is on Mal and this is on Rory. I wouldn't dare think to do this to my business partner, my friend, and my co-host for the pod. I wouldn't dare. But I haven't been conditioned like you guys have conditioned Joe Budden to treating you. He a foul ass nigga. So he getting it from the public right now. They going off on Joe Budden. But y'all need somebody to tell y'all straight up, bro, you got to be more selfish and you got to care about yourself first. All that loyalty shit sound good, how loyal you are to your friends. But in the real world, YOLO. You only live once. This is your story. This is your life. You are the fucking star of your story. And you allowing yourself to be treated like Robin in your own story. This is the Rory story for Rory. This is the Mal story for Mal. Everything comes with a possession with your name. Mal, Mal's friend, Mal's mom, Mal's children, Mal's everything. It's like that because it's your story. Why are you being the side character in your own fucking story? Care about you first. Don't allow no man to feel discomfortable treating you this way. Because newsflash, he's going to keep doing it. Like I said earlier when we was doing the contract negotiation last week with a network, there was a bunch of shit that we was negotiating. I only care about two of those things. One of them, I want to make sure I can continue to be on YouTube. That's what I know I care about. There's other shit I don't really care about that I could lose, but I ain't going to tell the network that. I'm going to sit there and if you give it to me, I'm going to take it. If you're not going to put up a fight, you give it to me, I'll take that too then. If you give him this on how to treat you, he's going to take it.
It's amazing. Patreon's great. I get a call from Ian. Hey, the accountant's going to reach out to you. This is going to be the monthly fee for Patreon.
Yep.
Was the number crazy per month? Absolutely.
Good, great money.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Great money.
Lot of fucking money. Mm-hmm. When I see a lot of money, do I automatically think, oh, there must be more? No. I just ask, so what is this based off of? Because from my understanding, at this point, this was a Joe Budden podcast thing.
Mm-hmm. What his manager said.
Him and his manager, Ian, shout Ian. Again, I'm not here to assassinate anyone's character. I say to Ian, yo, I've been stacking my bread. I'm fine. People look overworked, and we're doing a lot of shit right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I can just tell the morale is, I can just see it, that people are just overworked.
Now, watch this, especially if you've been here since I started the live, and the story we've learned of how they allowed Joe Budden to treat them, down from the first time Joe Budden yelled at him when he didn't even do shit. Now, watch this story and why it's important to stand up and establish firsthand of how you gonna let somebody talk to you and treat you. Just listen to this shit.
Worked.
No. Patreon it wasn't saying it. They expressed it to us.
It's not my place to say, even though they said
my place to say.
No, even though they said their place about me, I still don't return the favor when people do shit to me.
I'm saying it. People expressed that they were overworked and underpaid.
So, I say to Ian and Joe, I don't care what narratives you spin, anything, whatever. I said to Ian, don't pay me this month or next. Don't give me that amount of money.
I remember.
And that was a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
I said, don't pay me. Let's put it into production. Let's put it into the guys. This is not about money to me. Let's keep this shit moving.
Right.
Like, I don't need this shit.
Right.
We could just stick to whatever contract. I don't need this. Like, I don't need it right now.
Because you even came to me with that. You was like, yo, we should, the first month Patreon check, we should both just give it to the guys.
Yeah.
Camera guys, Savon,
like,
Alex,
fam, these people,
Parks.
Everyone looks like they're working crazy.
Parks.
Like, they're working crazy. Like, let's just give them that. Me and Ian have a great fucking conversation. I get a call early in the morning.
You're ungrateful.
Back to when you said you were talking to Joe. At this point, this was the first time in my life I said, who the fuck am I talking to? I wake up to someone screaming into the phone of how ungrateful I am.
Yeah.
How I don't give a fuck about anybody.
Yeah.
Any of this. And I'm like, what are you? Joe, I said, don't pay me.
Right.
And he's like, yo, you know, Patreon got no...
Remember I told y'all at the beginning what my partner did? He wouldn't let me go past when I yelled at him. I yelled at him trying to go past it. He like, no. Run that. We got to go back. We got to come back. You're not going to talk to me this way. He stood up for himself as a man. He would not let me go past it. Bring that back here, John. We got to talk about this. How you're not finished. He knew it was important to establish that he is going to be treated with respect as a man. Joe Budden called this guy 7 a.m. in the morning, yelling at him, screaming at him. And what did Rory say? He said, Rory's response was, Joe, I told them. So Rory was pressing forward with the conversation. He never stopped the conversation to let Joe realize, wait, my nigga, you ain't finna talk to me this way. That should have been first and foremost. You're not going to talk to me this way. And then you make him look stupid that you going to pay everybody else. Now, why would Joe be mad about Rory wanting to pay Parks, Savon, the crew, for because if they take their salary and they use their salary to pay these guys who feel like they're overworked, underappreciated, that's a confirmation that they're not getting paid. And it makes Joe look bad. The two guys with the smaller percentages are going to waive their pay for 2 months to help the other guys out. It's going to make Joe, the leader, naming the podcast, look even more worse. As we saw when Joe went off on them last week, Parks and Savon had Joe back. They didn't have Rory and Mal back. They'd have been more inclined to had this occurred and went through. That they knew these things. This is not facts. This is just my opinion. What if Joe? Y'all remember when Ian met with Rory and Ian said, yo, here's the kind of deal for what's Jay-Z shit? Not Spotify. Whatever. Y'all are typing in the comment section. Whatever JD shit you go listen to music on, right? Joe Budden cussed Rory out and said, don't you dare speak on behalf of the fucking podcast. And then Joe Budden went and got the exact same deal. What's the difference? It's the same deal, right? But what's the difference? It looked like Joe did it. Title. Thank you, guys. Hear me out on this. What if Joe cussed out Rory? You're not finna fucking pay them. They feel overworked and underpaid. You're not gonna go fucking pay them. Cuss him out. Get off the phone with Rory. Then Joe Budden take his money, and then Joe Budden goes and pays Parks and pays the rest of the guys. That could be a motive for why they sticking up with Joe so hard. Never realizing that it first came from Rory and Mal who wanted to do it. No evidence to that. Makes logical sense if that did happen.
It has nothing the fuck to do with you. Fuck you. Fuck all this. This ain't just shit. Why the fuck you even talking about shit? I'm like, your manager called me in a payout for Patreon. I said, just give it to everyone else.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Thought you were being a stand-up honorable guy.
I just think that's just some shit to do for the bigger picture for everybody. I don't care about money.
Right.
So he screams, and I'm like, yo, I don't even know who I'm talking to. When I met Joe, he probably had one of the bigger egos I'd ever met in my life. At this point, I'm like, yo, who? I don't even know who I'm talking to anymore.
I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. Like, who is this guy?
So that happens.
With an Amiri hat on.
I don't know if it's a fact that he had an Amiri hat on during that phone conversation.
He definitely had it on.
If you got that hat on at 7 a.m.
For sure. Definitely had it.
You a sick dude. So he does that, and I think it's the weirdest fucking thing on earth. But I'm still cool. Still don't think anything of it. They send the Patreon money to me, and back to psychoanalyzing your friends, back to me starting to think about old shit of like, all right, this shit is kind of weird. So yeah, when I hear Joe say at the end of that episode, let's do it for free now. It's on friendship. Ain't no business at all. Let's just do this shit for free. I've been on that time.
Right.
This is not about money. Because even before the Cash App shit, which then he then threw back in my face when I said, yo, don't worry about me. And then did the Cash App thing. And I said, what is this?
It's like we weren't supposed to ask anything. We were supposed to just go with whatever they were putting in front of us. And it's like, but it don't work like that.
Yo, the conclusion of this entire thing was me going, yo, so what is that? And then met with crazy anger. That's what this entire, like, we could chop this entire thing down to that.
Mm-hmm. Again, when you start questioning where money is coming from and where it's going. Accounting. That's all this shit is about. We asked to see the accounting because we have a profit agreement. We have a percentage-based agreement with each other.
I never did it maliciously. Never did it with accusations. Never insinuated anything. Our lawyers never got crazy. Joe and I even went back when we were talking at his crib about my lawyer being spicy on shit. And I read the email back to him.
Very polite.
And my accountant.
Very professional.
My accountant said, it's lovely to meet everyone. Let me know when you guys are ready to work.
But again, they only say that because they don't even want to be questioned about the accounting. They don't want to be questioned about anything. So when somebody even raises a question, it's a problem. You got to know that people can tell what that is. If every time I ask a question, you get upset.
There's no way Joe Budden that they're going to be together at the most over a year. It's impossible, bro. Joe not going to deal with this anymore. He's going to go straight salary on whoever going to take it, and they're not going to go take it because it's free reign to do whatever he want. He got Parks and Savon and all of them proudly glad they have no contract. Put 2 other guys on salary. He ain't got to worry about these arguments. Everything goes smooth selling for Joe. I mean, even when I look at that, it's just on business alone. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, you're there to try to make the most money you can. You get the most money you can. You take 2 guys who don't know their value and put them on a salary. But when it comes to guys that you built it with, that you out here running around telling everybody that they're your friend, I know how it is when somebody say that they're your friend. Fuck all that bullshit. Fuck what you say. It's about how you treat somebody. Are you going to uphold your end of the bargain when it comes to this? Or are you going to rely that I can fuck you over and treat you differently than I would somebody else because we're friends? And in that case, that person ain't your friend. I'm going through some shit like that right now, dealing with a documentary I'm trying to be made. Motherfucker ain't your friend, bro.
We know what that is, fam.
And for so many years, didn't think about it. Didn't cross my mind. That's my guy. Not thinking anything.
No, the fuck he not.
Anything like that. But then once we put that list together, we even came back and had that episode, which still didn't really sit right with me with everything Joe was saying because it was a complete polar opposite of everything he said when you and I had that amazing conversation for 6 hours at his crib. Like, it was just all that adding up. And then the conversations.
I don't think nothing else big came at the end. I'm going to skip around because I'm going to play Joe Budden. But I think just the most repeating, I don't think nothing startling came out.
Counting that anybody can just go in and punch numbers in. And no, we're not at liberty or whatever they said. We're not showing the Spotify deal.
Okay.
What happened to transparent? What the fuck happened to transparency and all this other?
Only thing I'll say on that part is just interesting that the Spotify deal is the sweet spot. That when I mean sweet spot like that, like we putting our foot down, you motherfuckers not gonna ever see this paperwork. Based upon the history and shit that's been given with Joe, that triggers my alarm that what the hell happened with this Spotify deal. Matter of fact, the error that they said that the accountants admitted with was from the Spotify deal, the $400K. And now you don't want nothing else to be shown on the Spotify deal, the biggest one. I ain't gonna say the biggest because they're saying that the Patreon's bigger, but one of the biggest deals that they ever had. There's a block. This is where you put the block up right here. That's interesting to me, man. We keep going. Because I want to play Joe Budden's response. It's only 11 minutes.
We just spent 5 hours in the house talking about.
Doing that to me forever.
Yeah, like, stop,
I didn't start
man.
that narrative.
Stop with that dumb. That shit is just stupid, man. And like I said, I'm mad that we even got to sit here and do this because I don't even like addressing dumb shit and stupid shit. But I understand we owe it to the supporters and the listeners and the followers to just no. We have
profit partners.
Profit partners
are allowed for any accounting.
We
and
get
body
any
of an email
accounting.
and an Excel spreadsheet is not fucking accounting.
That's not accounting. And you know anything about accounting, you would never send somebody an Excel spreadsheet and say, this is accounting. It's disrespectful.
And we was cool through it. And just got to a point with so much shit adding up.
For years, we kept it pushing and kept recording after receiving that bullshit accounting. We kept recording and kept.
Every time you say we kept recording, all I hear is, we again taught Joe Budden how to treat us. We taught Joe Budden. We're constantly, every day, giving Joe Budden new ways to fuck with us.
Kept it pushing.
Fuck us over.
And then it just got to a point where it was like, all right, enough is enough, man. Like, it's just too much shit going on.
The only other thing I want to hear is the academics part.
Trying to get shit right. We've been trying to get shit right on the. We're not doing that. You can never talk to me and disrespect me like that and think that I'm going to sit on the couch and be like, yeah, you know, Saweetie was looking good. You're not doing that.
I mean, she looks good, though.
She looks great. But I don't want to sit here and talk to you about it no more.
That's a fact.
And that's all it was for me. It was like, yo, I'm done. I told you I was done. And like I said, speaking to you, speaking to Royce, speaking to my brother, and go the way they want to go. And like I said, him, you know, I read everything, man. Like, I know what Joe was doing, bringing the homies on to. I know what that is, fam. Like, I'm not stupid. I know what that energy is. Like, I know what that is. And, you know, I laughed at it because I know the relationship that he has with them two. And I know things ain't all peachy between them.
See that right there? Issues behind the scene with Ice, Ish, and Joe. It's fucking pattern.
I know personal shit, and I'm not gonna get into that. I know personal history that happened between them. So I know it's just like you really gonna sit here and just try to create this optic that, oh, I could do this with anybody. You willing to pull on people that you know you got issues with that you don't really bang with like that to just try to prove a point to me and Rory? And then gonna try to spin it like we abandon our audience? First of all, you said we gonna all go to our corners and get right. So if we all go on our corners,
tag on it.
Yeah, you put the mum tag on it, but I thought we was all going our corners. You sitting on here recording the show with other people. So it's like, all right, fam.
I didn't need them to say that to understand that. I knew that off rip when Joe Budden first screamed, "Y'all abandoned the fans." That was when I first heard Joe Budden say, "Y'all abandoned the fans." I was like, "That's so wrong. How you gonna tell a man he can't come to work? How you gonna tell a man to sit out, and while he's sitting out, you gonna say he abandoned the fans?"
And you ain't got to.
I'm here with a bunch of dudes that actually want to be here.
Yeah, it's like stop, man. You trying to create these narratives and you trying to spin shit, and this is like, I'm not. It's just weird at this point. It's like, all right, man, let me just detach myself from this. It was a great run. You know, I love the times we had. It was definitely more goods than bads.
And
I'll give you that.
Giving the crew that whole narrative to them of, yo, how would y'all? Isn't that offensive to y'all that these two would abandon this shit?
Like, stop,
abandon this shit. No,
stop.
this is an agreement upon the three of us.
We agreed that okay, we're gonna take. And like I said, you put the tag on it that accounting was gonna take a month.
And I was the one that said we could talk about it. And after we had that 5-hour conversation a month later, the three of us said, shit, we should have had this week one.
We could have had it week one.
So I'm the measly one that was trying to do it from rip and just get this shit over with and move on.
No. We didn't have it week one because like I said.
Well, he didn't hit me. He just texted me and then that was it.
He was busy trying to create the narrative that I could sit here and do this with anybody. It's just trying to devalue. It's trying to devalue. It's trying to say something. It's trying to spin. Like, I know what that shit is, fam. I'm not stupid. I could play stupid, but I'm not stupid. Please, don't try.
Also said that he could get both them for the price of half of one of us.
Of course he can.
No, he said that to me though.
Of course he can. That's what he wants. Yeah. He doesn't want to have to pay.
Now that could be a real stinger for Joe. Just the fact that they put that out there, just as men, Ish and Ice's guy, you can't go into negotiation just willing to take anything. Now you can like two fucking flunkies, like that could have everlasting effects on Joe Budden. Or we may see two new guys we never heard of.
The money that he would have to pay.
Yeah,
so it's like it's cool
for the price of one of us cut in half.
But it's like but what you not, because that's when things are gonna go really, really wrong. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm not gonna defamate your character. Don't defamate my character.
That definitely.
We tried something. We tried to work some business out. It didn't happen. Rory and I know why it didn't happen. So let's just leave it at that, fam, and stop lying to the people, man. Like, give the people we gave the people the truth. But then you should give the people the truth as well. Don't sit there and spin no narratives and just lie and create shit. No, fam, this comes down to we have a profit agreement, a percentage-based contract with each other, and every time we asked for accounting, there was a problem. You never wanted to give nobody accounting. You don't want to show us the real numbers from the deals and all of this other shit. And it's like, all right, fam, what are we doing? Because, again, we have this contract, and if you're not going to honor...
I'm seeing that because there's nothing else to watch. I'm gonna play Joe Budden stuff, and then I give y'all my ending thoughts. But this is after Joe saw the same thing that we just saw.
Where are the living room attorneys? That's nasty. Imagine trying to sell the franchise.
And look at the comments. They're giving it to Joe.
They say they don't work for you. Let's address it. Let's get to that right there, because I think that's a real big problem in the ego and the pride and the male emotions and the male communication and shit like that. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. No, I'm not back on any pills. That's a hurtful thing to say to someone that has struggled with a pill addiction.
Yo, this man here hurting, bro. This shit did not go the way he planned. And I think that's because Joe doesn't plan. He's very emotional and just blurts out stuff that he always regrets. And then you talk about money coming in per episode and all this stuff, like with the lack of the recordings and everything right now because of this crap, you know, it's just a process. Like, it's crazy.
Now, let's talk about that. They don't work for you. This is the wording in the contract. And they'll have to go speak to their attorneys about this. Or no, this is not the wording in the contract, because you're not going to catch me like that. Where you're so...
This is the first thing I caught. Now, he just said you're not going to catch me like that. The first time, and these supposed to be street niggas, these supposed to be friends, right? They're supposed to be friends. The only person that's ever talked about court is Joe Budden. When they ask what's in their contract, quarterly, can we see the accounting? And they asked so many times, and after he tried to give them the Excel, they're like, nah, this is just, anybody can jot this down in the Excel. We want to see the real accounting. And when he backed it to a corner, Joe's the first person to say, well, audit me then, which means, well, take me to court. Joe Budden then comes and he yells on his podcast, if you do another podcast, I'll fucking sue you. Still, Joe Budden the only person. Now, even after Mal, and I disagree with Mal, but even after Mal sits there and like, I'm not taking my homie to court. Are you crazy? It's nutty to me, whatever the fuck he said. Here's Joe right here. Let me change this right here because you're not going to catch me like that. The only person who thinking on these terms is Joe. They just simply want to see the accounting. The only person thinking about court and all that shit is Joe. And everything, sometimes it's what people say and sometimes it's what people don't say.
Knowing me because I'm divulging personal information. This is what the contract says. It doesn't say that they are profit participants of the podcast. These are facts, living room lawyers. It doesn't say that they're profit participants of the podcast. And I think that's what they may have thought. I don't know. But watching their video, I still don't think they know what the contract says. But it says something to the effect of they make money off of my podcast earnings net.
This nigga discombobulated. This nigga is good. What that dude who was in here earlier? What that dude that this that's the same thing, Joe. This nigga, y'all done broke Joe. Y'all done discombobulated him, man. This is the second live. The first live, he was even more discombobulated. Joe.
That's very different. It's very different.
It's not.
Very different statement, sentiment.
It's not either of those.
May be tough for some people to understand, but those words are very, very different. The end. It's not for me to explain further if there's any.
What's up, DME Detroit, man? Yo, I came back from the woods last night. I walked in here, DME Detroit. All the lights was off. I looked and saw you was live. I'm just playing it live on the speaker and shit, walking all through the crib or whatever, man. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. But that game looked so that game looked so real, DME Detroit. I was like, man, I hate that I'm so busy. Cause what is that, a PlayStation 5? I can't get a gaming system because I feel if I play a game, I'm in trouble because it's something else I should be doing. I hate that shit. I got to get better at that.
Issues, get with people that you trust, not your friend. Oh, it's not difficult to understand? I thought it was difficult to understand. You make a percentage of what I net from this work operation.
And what's even worse is it's still a red herring. Even in this, as detailed as he's trying to be, it's still a red herring. Because he's playing semantics with words. I don't care how you try to say gross or what you net or Joe Budden podcast. You can say however words you put. They have a percentage in that base that they're getting paid from you. And in the contract, quarterly, they get to see the accounting. That is if you say anything other than they can't see the accounting, it is a red herring. You're trying to use another subject to create a fallacy, man. Like this is.
And after the Spotify deal, I quickly learned that I was all wrong. I ain't never had no money, so I was all wrong in what it costs to run a business.
Are you setting up motive? They didn't say that they found a $400K mistake. They said that the accountants confirmed that they found the $400K mistake in the Excel spreadsheet that you guys fucking put together to give to them. You come on after watching that live and you say, oh, well, the Spotify deal, which is the one deal that after that mistake, you refuse to let them see accounting or any paperwork on. You put your foot down so much so that you said, hey, sue me, AKA, hey, audit me. You went to those levels and then you come on after saying that and say, hey, I realize with that deal that it takes a lot more. So are you saying you had to take a lot more to pay and run it? Why does it take a lot more, Joe? How the hell does a podcast take a lot more depending on where you put it? A podcast on Audio Boom and stream out to all services, Apple, Spotify, everything. The way that you edit and make a file to put this file up, whether it's visually on YouTube or just an audio MP3 long file for streaming services, how does that take more money? What are you talking about? Are you saying you spending more money on advertisement now that you're with Spotify, which they advertise for you too? Like, what are you saying? Like, also, what does this have to do with you allowing them to see the accounting? I told y'all, this dude gonna be throwing up so many red herrings, bro.
I was wrong. It was bad. It was bad, y'all. It was costing me a lot more. It was expensive. So I went and I took my money from everywhere and I ran.
There you go, Mal and Rory. It was more expensive. I work in true crime. That's what I do, true crime documentaries. It was more expensive, so I had to take my money from everywhere, is what this man is saying after y'all just put out a video saying he won't let you look at the books. I had to take my money from everywhere. That means I had to take my money from you two anyway. Fuck your contract. Because I just told y'all I don't honor contracts.
In the business, my revolt money, my pull-up money, my love and hip-hop money.
If you didn't pull money from them, why is this important? This doesn't matter at all.
YouTube money, any money I had, I came back and put it all in the business. Because if I didn't do that, niggas might be making $30,000 and $40,000 based on a contract. That ain't the friendly thing to do. Watch your niggas make 40, and that's nasty. So I never honored it. I never looked at it. I always just went above and beyond.
How do you know if you're going above and beyond if you never honor it, you never looked at it?
And that's that.
Why can't you let your friends know of this very small number that they would have drawn a smaller percentage from? Why can't you let your friends know this? Not from you writing the number down in an Excel sheet, by showing them the same books you would have had to have looked at yourself if you're saying you looked at something and you realized they weren't going to get paid. Why can't your friends who are contracted to see this?
But I don't think they knew that, and that's where we stand in the fight. That's why the therapist said, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe she's right. They don't know that I'm going above and beyond. They don't know I'm taking money from all over the place to make sure everybody's okay. They don't know. They're right. They don't know. But you can't look up twice a year and expect to know.
That's not your job to tell them what they can look up twice a year, number one. Number two, if it was quarterly, it'd have been 4 times a year. So maybe that would have helped them instead of twice a year. Number three, why are you speaking for another man? Why go through this long road when you can just show? And this is the point to where even though they listed specific details such as 1,500 one show, 2,000 tickets sold next show, and the pay still the exact same. But even if you don't have those incidences, even if you just had this to work with, I'm going to think something fishy going on. Every adult person, prudent person is going to think something that's fishy is going on when you're working this hard. You're on a live right now telling the fans that my guys didn't know. They are right. They didn't know, and that's what the issue is. Okay, you have addressed that where the issue is that they are ignorant of the facts that they should have due to the contract saying that you're supposed to give it to them. That's the issue with you and your friends. So why can't you just show them now?
That's really just the bottom line. And that's where the fight came from. The podcasts don't have a deal anywhere. There's no deal. That's what I said to these brothers privately. There's no deal. There is no deal. We don't have a deal. We left Spotify. There's no deal.
There's no Cash App deal? There's no Patreon deal?
Be in my pockets. It's clear. It's clear. We can talk. There is no deal. That's not a secret. There's no deal.
Also, too, this is another red herring, right? Let's say that there's no deal. Everything Joe Budden is saying is true. However many years it's been since you signed that contract, you have to multiply by 4 because it's quarterly that you're supposed to show them the books during those times in which there were deals. So this is how people change the subject on you when they argue with you and you don't even realize it. Hey, there's no deal. I want to look at the books. There's no books. There's no deal. All right. But there was a Spotify deal, and we would like to see the book on the Spotify deal that you're contractually, you have to show us. You have to show us this.
Deal. That's it. $400,000 mistake just goes to all of the things that they thought was wrong with accounting that wasn't wrong. The $400,000 mistake that's how Spotify paid out 1 year. They gave you an advance up front or part of the money up front, and as the business owner, you have to prorate it through the year or through the 2 years, and that's what happened. And they got the accounting and saw this big $400,000 number and said, "What's this? What's this? You lying? You stealing? How do you make this?" I said, "Fam, we can't do this. We can't do this if y'all don't understand."
And this is where you have to go off people, because we can't see the paperwork. The only thing you're left is people's reputation, and to go off of to make whatever decision you could at the time. As we sit here right now, so he's saying that $100,000 was a year payout, but Spotify gave you the $400,000 up front, and he's saying as a business owner that he took the $400,000, he allocated throughout 12 months, the promotion, all the other things that you have to pay out. All right. So I have to take this information of what Joe just said, and I have to look at, do I think Mal and to both these guys and their attorneys who went to school, graduated from college, got their law degree, went through extra school, then passed the bar exam for their states, and have been making lots of money on multiple different clients. I have to say that both of these lawyers that they have, plus these two grown men, everybody involved was so stupid that they all, even after Joe is saying that he told these people this and their intelligent lawyers this, that they still couldn't grasp and comprehend the fact that Spotify paid $400,000 up front that he allocated throughout the year. That's one way to go, or the other way to go may just be maybe his shit is not adding up. Also, Mal said that the accountant firm confirmed that they made a $400,000 error. We can say that Mal could be lying, or Mal could be telling the truth. I'm just laying them all out there, laying each route that you could take out there. You know, he's saying that the accountant firm confirmed this right here, right? Now, let's take this information and put this information to what Joe just said on this actual video here. Joe said, I didn't realize it costs that much money to run a business, especially with the Spotify deal. So it sounds to me, I would be credible if I take the information that Joe said, and Joe is trying to say that he spent now Joe Budden voice, way too much fucking money out of the $400,000, and he spent so much, maybe he didn't pay Mal and Rory what they should have been paid of their percentage. He literally just said he took money and started trying to grabbing money from every fucking where. And this is the one deal he will not budge on to let them see the accounting books on. The one deal that he admits that he didn't know what to do and he didn't know how much money it was to fund it, that he got all the money for the year up front, just so happens to be the one deal he will not budge to let these two men see, even though they're contracted to see it. What conclusion can you draw from this right here? What subjective conclusion can you draw from this if you're Rory and you're a Mal?
What this says, we can't do it. But you got a Patreon deal. Yeah. Me.
But you got a Patreon deal. Yeah, me. Remember at the beginning of this long live I'm doing, I said towards the end when I pay this, I'll show you how Joe Budden is using the Joe Budden network to fuck over the Joe Budden podcast. Whereas he used to get deals for Joe Budden podcast, now he has a Joe Budden network that he can use to get all his major deals on. And if he does he's not getting deals for the podcast, which Rory and Mal are contracted to receive a percentage of. It has nothing to do with them. It's a conglomerate that this will be ran under, along with a bunch of other more podcasts that Joe is the manager and running through this business that has nothing to do with Rory and Mal. So he's going to use this until their contract is over with, not re-up with them on a percentage-based contract, find some two flunkies to do just a standard, I forget what it's called, payout where they're not getting a percentage on it. And then that way he can run all of his businesses and get all the money.
Y'all still rich, you bugging. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And that's where I went wrong when you're working with friends. I was thinking, all right.
You went wrong by thinking that, hey, I'm giving these niggas a lot of money, so since I'm giving a lot of money, they should not question anything. I don't want to be fucked. I've never made $1 million in my life. But if I got a friend who comes and gives me $1 million and I've never made that, I'm not going to be grateful if on the contract you gave me $1 million, something I never made, I was supposed to get $3 million on. I'm not going to be grateful because it's more money I've ever had in my life. I'm going to be pissed because you think you can fuck me. You think you can pull the rug over on me. I'm going to be fucking heated at you. I'm going to be mad with more money in my bank account than I ever had before because you didn't give me what you owe me. That's where you fucked up.
I see what's going on. As long as everybody has a way to be a millionaire or a path to be a millionaire. That's what the fight is for with these companies. Just a path to be able to share in the benefits of what you built. You are not making sense. No, you just stupid, nigga. This makes all the sense in the world. It's very simple. It's not tough to understand. You never talk to them like that. I've had 90 million talks with these gentlemen like this. They just don't like it. They don't like it, but they won't step to the lawyer that negotiated it, that is still representing them both. They rather just attack me. But I'll take it. I love those guys. Fuck it.
They don't rather just attack you because you went public. They're defending themselves. Let's not create false narratives.
All relationships don't last. But everybody got to eat. You said, no, it isn't. You drag them to the deaths publicly and say you love them.
Facts.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I went through something. I had a tough day. Sorry. I've been making my mistakes publicly since I was 20 years old. Sorry that you just got here. You just got to the internet.
Look how he switched look how he switched it on that the dude in the comment section. This is why I don't be talking to people in their comment section. You give the person all the power. I'd rather be on my own platform. You know what I'm saying? He turned to the victim. I've been doing this publicly since forever. I'm sorry you just got here. What is it? What did him just getting there have to do with anything? How do you know he just got there? He stated the fucking fact. You shitted on your friends in public. You agree. You apologize to him. Why get mad at him? You said, I'm sorry, Rory, on the next podcast show. You said you did your friends wrong. You said that your man's is hurting. So why are you mad at that guy for making that comment and going off on him?
Figure out how this works. Sometimes you make a mistake publicly. Ooh, whoop-de-doo, cancel me. Fumble up the bag. Validate your own self, Joe. You don't need others. Nobody else validates my feelings. It's just important for all the living room lawyers to know how this works, because some of you out there could use some of this as a teachable moment. That's it.
Like I said, sometimes it's what you don't say. So the first time I saw this, I was like, he rushed to go live to say he needs to teach people about business. He want to do like a class or whatever. He's not going to do it. He's still trying to figure out the correct way to respond. He hasn't done it yet. So like when Math went live immediately after he punched Serious Jones, he had to delete it and take it off. He's still trying to figure out the right approach. When he does, it's not going to be him doing a teachable class. You'll never hear about this shit again unless he hears me calling him out saying that he's not going to do it. He'll do it. He's not going to fucking do the shit. But like, why, after his mans go off that hard on him to defend themselves, is his brain registering to teach other people this shit? If you care about your mans or whatever, your first initial thought would be to go to your mans first to correct that shit before you go out here and try to correct strangers. But again, this is coming from the guy who says that he don't owe his friends shit. You know what I'm saying? Even to be civil with them. His friends are the exact same as strangers. So I guess I got to just take him for what he admits to be at this point.
Any nigga that has to rob their friend to buy Amiri hats is a nasty nigga, man. It's disgusting. Yes, I am too old for this, which is why this is the best outcome. Do I wish this could have been handled better and behind the scenes? 100% I do. Do I?
You wish it could be handled behind the scenes. Why you got mad at dude earlier when he said you shit on your friends then?
Wish that they didn't just view everything like some type of evil action was taking place. I did. You do a lot of lying and covering your true feelings. Because this ain't about feelings. It's about business. Nobody's here for feelings. I got a lot of feelings. Nobody cares. So what? They don't matter. The business has to run still. I know that makes me seem like a meanie. So do you think they accused you of stealing? No, maybe not. Maybe they didn't accuse me of stealing. They just had a problem with the accounting on the way a multi-million-dollar business is being ran.
I think a little bit of both. I think they just started off maybe just wanting to see some votes, but I think you mix into a cake bowl of the yelling at them and the strong defiance to them on something that's supposed to be very simple in business, mixed with other actions such as them getting the same pay regardless of how many tickets are sold, and they're supposed to be based on the percentage. I think a lot of that stuff all mixed up together. It was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of them starting to not trust you.
Which says that you think you are entitled to more. And maybe you are. And maybe that's where the fight is. They think they're entitled to more. I don't really see it. It's harsh. It's tough. I know. But I mean, the contract was only for another year. I mean, if they both said they wasn't going to re-sign it, then this shit was over in another year.
That's exactly the point I'm talking about. He said it's over because they wasn't going to re-sign. They said that they was not going to re-sign if you try to put them on salary. So this is an admittance that the only route that you were going to go is on salary. I hate how human beings can take words and you can mix it so many different ways to trick other people. I really hate that shit. Because if you just listen to Joe and you didn't know any better, he just told his audience, which is far more larger than Mal's and Rory's audience, that they refuse to resign. No. They like their contract. They like the percentage they came up with. They're not even asking for more percentage. You could present the same thing here and honor the contract like you're not honoring it now. They probably would have resigned. But they said that they're definitely not going on salary.
Year anyway. A multi-million-dollar business cannot be reflected on an Excel. Okay, but what if there is no business? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. What if there's no business at all? What if there is no deal? What if you're not signed? What if there's no audio deal, no video?
We know there's a deal with Patreon, so maybe he's saying that there's no deal because he's doing everything on his Joe Budden network now. His larger umbrella to cover all of these podcasts, which they have no dealings with. I'm confused. I don't know, because at the same time, he's saying that they got to deal with Patreon. And Rory and Mal just said that they're getting paid for the Patreon. The biggest checks that they've ever seen. He said the Patreon checks are bigger than the Spotify checks. I don't know how this shit working out, man. They're confusing me.
Deal, there's no ad, no integration. What if there's nothing? And this is why it's almost pointless to have these conversations on the internet. So I'm going to finish, because you wanted to put them on salary. Yeah, that's how it works. If all you want to do is come in and talk, then you make a salary. Now, granted, it could be a really high salary, but if you have a problem with sitting behind expenses, then you should get a salary.
I don't know. I never heard. I mean, I never heard them say they had a problem with expenses. I heard them say that they had a problem paying expenses to an accountant that's in their contract to see quarterly that you aren't going by the contract to let them see. Word salad, bro.
They got a percentage. You said it last pod. Yes, they have a percentage of Joe's net from the pod. Yes, they do. That is true. Call a lawyer and figure out what it means if you played yourself as a person. They've been saying that for 20 years. Everything looks gorgeous out right now. All right, I'm getting off. Did you give up the Spotify deal with another deal in place? Explain Royce and Crook. On the surface, this pod's none of your business. Sounds harsh, but I get what you're saying. You was making up numbers then. Oh my God. Shut up. What we're not going to do is come on here and just start spilling the numbers for shit. grab a calculator, grab your contract, do math.
That's exactly what he told them. Grab a calculator.
Very simple. You honestly should only have a guest host. Thank you, Dree. We're going to look into all of that. We're going to look into guest hosts. We're going to look into rotating hosts. We're going to look into no hosts. We're just going to look into things. This is the time to experiment, try different things, and embrace whatever the universe is doing.
I'm curious. So this is over. He looking at guest hosts. He gonna look at Ish and Ice, who they just put that bug in Ish and Ice's ear, which may be beneficial to Ish and Ice, or it may be fuck him up to where Joe don't want to pay him that much now, as he's trying to set them up to be the salary taking stooges. This show is over. I'm curious on with Mal refusing to take Joe to court on anything. How are they just not getting paid no more for the rest of their contract for the rest of the year? Is it just stop? Like, I'm curious on what happens now. If they're gonna do some friendship shit or some street shit, then they just not getting paid no more from the show, and Joe goes on, and then it's over from this point out. Contractual wise, I don't know what's in the contract, if they can sue him. Or if he's going to try to use them not coming in last Monday as a breach of contract. It's fucking stupid, man. All I know is Joe Budden always gets himself into these situations when it comes to people he's close with, cool with, and people he worked with. So if I'm a betting man, this will happen again in the future. And it's sad to see someone so lost into their own mind that they don't even see that they're the reason that this keeps happening to them. It doesn't seem like they're pressed. Mal and Rory are pressed to go out here and continue to do this shit. Being called out by the fans and all of this, I don't think that Joe will sue them if they try to do their own podcast. If I can get a confirmation that Mal is actually going to speak more. I like when Mal speaks, but he rarely speaks. That he's going to actually like constantly be in conversation. I'd be up to listening to Rory and Mal show. I feel bad for the dudes. Is it possible Joe Budden was meeting less than he thought he was going to and was keeping that from Rory and Mal? Yep. Joe breached the contract first if he does not submit the accounting. Yep. Joe breached the contract and didn't get the accounting. Yep. Mal and Rory should be getting a payout or piece of the podcast going forward through legal means, of course. Joe said on the last podcast that Mal called asking for the money owed, and apparently they paid him. Oh. If it's a non-compete clause, I would assume they still get paid. We're going to look into no one else having a profit percentage deal with my IP. Yep. Check out Kevin Hart going in on Buttons while defending Mal and Rory. I didn't know he did that. That's cool. I'm definitely going to check that out. They're getting percentage from the pod. And Kevin Hart is somebody that goes to bat for his friends and put all his friends in great position. That's the kind of person you want to be. You want to make sure everybody can eat. Nigel said this money shit is nasty, but it's life. The thing is, though, this is all just more content for Joe and his potting. Potting! Yeah, I don't know. He not potting, though. You know, he is shit for his IG, but the money come from the pod. If I was Joe, I'll go and stack up a bunch of advertisers right now to put in my next show, and then in the next show talk about this and get paid off of it. This breakdown and 3-letter mans are the best I've seen. Shout out to 3-letter man. Joe would never have been better off if he hadn't responded. Yep. You got to know yourself. I know I can get emotional. I know me, boy, when I get 3,000 mad and I have made some mistakes on the internet coming off really mad. You got to know yourself and you got to master that, man. I'm going to tell you right now, like I be telling all the battle rappers, if you really, really mad, don't go live. Who cares? I want to get my side out. You're going to get your side out. I don't want people to forget. Ain't nobody going to forget about you. When somebody say something about you in drama, they waiting for your response. So relax. Think it through. Don't do nothing really, really fast on emotions because, you know, man, there's a lot of people who was rooting for Joe Budden and he lost out a favor on. I would assume numbers are changing inside of the Patreon right now. And someone said something earlier, too. I didn't read your comment, but I saw it when I was talking about the part where Joe Budden did bring those people in. He didn't bring him in from rapping, but he brought him in for way other different life moments he made, such as with the Migos and Lil Yachty and Yelling and Drake and all that stuff. And then someone left a comment saying, even if that line wrapped around the corner, even if 2% of them was for Rory or 5% of them was from Mal, even small, that's still a lot of people that support him. And these people that did like Rory did have his own fans. It may not have been as much as Joe, but if he had his own fans and they giving money to the Patreon, and Mal had fans and giving money to the Patreon, that's two. There's another market that Joe lost, is that people don't like when you do people dirty. They don't like when you do fucked up shit to people. So they could have been Joe's fans, saw he did something fucked up to him. So that's another set of people that he could have lost by being emotional and airing his friends out. And I think when it comes to a lot of like women audience members, they're gonna be more upset when you talking to them personal, saying you're hiding detergent and stuff like that, because they're like, wow, you really gonna do your mans like that? Well, a lot of times we as men, we more look into the business aspect of business part. A lot of people are gonna be upset just the way that he treated his friends. So I mean, there's a lot of L's he taken this weekend. Another thing that sucks for Joe Budden is when you get two people saying a side, normally 1 week a person says a side and everybody run with it. But they drop their response on the weekend. So while everybody waiting to make their videos about this Monday throughout the week, and I'm not talking about YouTubers like me, we'll go fucking live Saturday night. I'm talking about bigger networks. All of them coming out with their stuff Monday. But they don't get to come out with their stuff with just Joe's side. They get to come up wrapped up with Joe yelling and screaming, along with Rory and Mal doing this well thought out, collected response to him that makes him look worse. So Joe's getting no day of a good narrative. All of this stuff is going to be coming out tomorrow, which is going to hurt his name just even worse. And it's crazy, man. I'm going to go, I've been live for a hell of a long time. I knew I was going to be live for a long time because I knew that they was talking for over an hour, and I knew I was going to be pausing it and shit, and I knew I had to play Joe shit and pause it. So I know I've been live for a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off this thing and go back to editing my videos and shit, man. But this is what I'm doing from now on. Yeah, thank y'all for rocking with me. Any big thing in the culture, anything big in hip hop, anything big, anything dealing with our culture here in Black America, I'll be doing it on this channel from now on, man. Until then, y'all hold it down. And Cortez, for the Rocky movie aspect, we need you to be Geechee, man. Need you to be Geechee. Thank y'all for rocking with me, man. Y'all hold it down.